Sorry, rather for the Lion, Jean-Pierre Leroy.
Yeah. No, this game is you don't survive this with white against a grandmaster ever. He's got like a pawn as well, like check. Rookie one is coming. Actually, it's just resigned straight away here.
So what happened there, Lawrence? Was it perhaps a kind of confusion where he got tricked into a dragon, and normally he wouldn't play that? I think that's what it was.
It's this move here. I'm showing the viewers, Jen, on move 8. If you've just joined us, you've missed an absolute thriller in the Eastern Division with what seems like, and I'll get corrected if I'm wrong here, Magnus Carlsen, world champion, the Norway Gnomes, not quite doing it. Had a 7.5, 5.5 lead going into the final game against, was it Riga? Jen, I can't quite. I think it was Riga.
Yeah, well, they were playing against the Estonia horses.
Estonia. Yeah.
But Riga was kind of involved in the race to see who might get relegated.
Right.
And well, I'm sure a lot of world champion fans are sad to see how it turned out, Lawrence.
Yeah, unfortunately, Norway only drawing that match means that Magnus Carlsen and his gnomes will be trotting off back to whatever little huts they all live in the Norwegian countryside, because they are not going to be qualifying to the knockout stage.
They aren't, but you know what? The Estonia horses are, and I'm a huge fan of their top-rated player, Alexander Onishuk, who's also just been inducted into the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame. So, with every loser comes a winner, and in this case, the win goes to the Estonia horses, who drew the match, but by virtue of drawing the match, secured their spot into the playoffs.
Exactly. And, well, that's the Eastern Division. We're here for the Central Division. Now, unfortunately, not the, let's say, the most critical of weeks, Jen. If we take a look at the standings, and I'm just going to bring those up really quickly here. In the Central Division, as we'll see, guys, we can see, one second.
Well, I think what you're trying to show is that in the Central Division, we do have 4 teams secured into the playoffs, even with a round to go. But there's still a lot of drama, Lawrence, and you'll see that the Marseille Migraines, they're still fielding Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. The Stockholm Snowballs are still everybody's still putting in their top players, because this final match still determines a lot. It determines who might have draw odds. It also determines which team might get relegated.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of drama in terms of the league, even though the playoff spots have been determined.
Yeah, and we can see the league there. The Snowballs and the Migraines, top of the league on 5.5, and Cam Blockbusters and Turtles on 5 and 4, and the Puffins just too far behind. But you're right, Jen, there's a lot to play for. Who's going to stay in the league? Who's going to get relegated? And the sides, they're still fielding out some of the best players, like you said. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave still playing. So there's a lot of fantastic chess for us to look at, and we will be doing all of that. And big shout out to everybody watching us online via Twitch. We will do our best as well to make sure the most interesting and insightful comments or questions do appear on the stream and get answered. We will do our best. So we'll take that little standings away now. And we're waiting for the games to kick off. In fact, they have kicked off, Jen. We've got our first match, it seems, that is kicked off.
All right, let's get it started. It seems like, okay, I see Nuki's online already, but I don't think he started playing yet. Who's the...
Well, we've got here Marcus Harvey playing white, Andy Horton playing for the London Lions against Buris Scoborna, who's been a regular fixture actually for the Turtles. So it's the Lions against the Turtles. Now this is a relevant match, because if the Lions win, they secure their place in next year's Pro Chess League, which is important. If they lose, then they put themselves at risk, because if Amsterdam Mosquitoes win, they will leapfrog the Lions, and the Lions would go out. And we already know that the London Towers, unfortunately, are already out of the division. It'd be a disaster.
But the same thing is true for the Puffins,
Yes,
Lawrence, because the Puffins have 2.5 points too. And if you look at the game points, the Mosquitoes have the best tie breaks by far of the three. So a draw is not necessarily going to cut it, especially not for the Lions because they have worse tie breaks. So if the Lions gets 8-8 versus Puffins and the Mosquitoes win, the Lions are out.
Exactly.
So this could be very dramatic for the Lions, who I know had a fantastic round last week.
Yes. Too little too late, Jen, I'm afraid, it seems. Just too little too late.
But let's get into some of the games. As you mentioned, that you saw some games starting up already.
We have got 4 games. In fact, the Lions are bent on staying in this week, and they've gone all in, Jen, with their picks. So we've got one game. We've got Marcus Harvey, who's 23-41 FIDE, playing against Yuri Borasek. And then we've got Andy Horton.
That's a very interesting one indeed.
Yeah, we've got Andy Horton, who's 23-60, playing against Juris Scriborno, who's a grandmaster. And then we've got Jean-Pierre Leroux, the French grandmaster playing for the Lions, playing against Scuhalo, who's been very impressive this season. And then we've got a bit of a wild card for the Lions, Jean-Noël Riff. So it's a London team. They're all French, but it's a London. No, they're half French, I guess. And he's a grandmaster, so they are going for it this week. So we've already got a bunch of really interesting games. We've got an all grandmaster clash here. Grandmaster Raphael against J.N. Cool. That is this one here, Shebenik against Jean-Noël Riff. And I guess we should start there, Jen, with this game, because it is getting exciting already in the center.
Let's get into it, and that is board 3. Board 3 for the Turtles, who have like kind of a more balanced lineup, and that's why they don't have as heavy of a hitter as some teams have on board 1, and that's why you see them getting away with a 25-40 on board 2.
Precisely, exactly. So so E4 just played by Shebenik, aka Raphael, and ED4 94 by Riff, and I really like White's position now, I think, after Queen takes C5. I think he's going to take, and now this C6 pawn is very weak. Also, you can just take on D5 here with what looks like a very healthy position for White. I don't quite know what the best way is. Probably I'd take on D5 here, actually.
Right, take on D5, or play E5 and then take on C6.
Yeah, you can do either E5 and then take on C6. There's a
then your bishop on G2 is going to be
so
E5
strong. Could be very strong. I mean, it feels as though White's got like various ways to secure an advantage here. But basically, the key to this position lies in this G2 bishop. Raking up that diagonal, and this structure is just not sound. So I really like White's position there. So we'll see how Shebenik decides to proceed in this position. Be interesting.
So everybody, there's an imposter apparently on the Twitch chat, Jennifer Shahadi. That's actually not me. I'm Jen Shahadi on all social media networks, not Jennifer Shahadi. So just keep that in mind.
That's strange.
I think they're spouting some expletives actually, and it's actually a good warning that if you are a public figure, you should try to like reserve all the various permutations of your name, right, Lauren?
Yeah, no, actually, Jen, I'll be honest with you. It's a godsend for me. It's a blessing because all of these expletives, I just say, no, it's troll, but it's actually me most of the time. So it's like bingo, like get away with it one time. No, it's not me. I am actually on Twitch. My name is Trentosk, Trentosk. So if you hear any swear words from Trentosk, it's not me.
And congratulations, Lawrence, on the news that you're going to be covering the candidates with Judah Polgar.
Thank you very much.
I saw that was officially announced a couple of days ago. You did kind of give us a little bit of a hint.
I did.
On the stream last week. So it pays to watch the stream, guys. You might get a scoop And let's take a look at some of the other games, as
Yeah.
it does seem like the one between Sebenik and Jean-Noel is going in the direction of the Turtles.
Yeah, I like this
But
position.
how about Marcus Harvey versus Donatello? That's a really interesting position.
Wow.
Where it looks like white is down to exchange, but he's up a princess. That pawn on G7 is just too powerful, Lawrence,
This
because
just looks
Rook D8
winning.
is coming, and
Just over.
Rook
Just
D8
over.
will win the game.
Wow, within 5 minutes. That's
Rook G7,
impressive.
and now there's just Rook D8 checkmate on the board. Marky Harvey
at that.
for the Lions, and you said it earlier that it's too little too late for the Lions, but man, like, after the match they played last week and what's starting off this week, you wonder if they could have had a playoff bout had they been playing like this the whole time.
Well, exactly. You know, they'll be kicking themselves because they've got a really good team, the Lions, and like Marcus Harvey, and I can tell you, you know, he's a very strong young player. And Andy Horton as well. I've played very recently at the European Rapid and Blitz Championships in Poland. Very, very talented young player. So it's a real shame that they have left it so late. Nevertheless, you know, if they can secure their place in the league, well, that would be a big bonus for them. So well done to Marcus Harvey, beating Yuri Borisek in the first game. And let's go to, are there any other super interesting games here?
Well, I think we're about to start up another match, probably.
We will be, yeah.
Take a look. Yeah. No, so far those are the only ones under play. And I can't believe one of them's already over, Lawrence. It's just crazy.
Incredible, yeah.
Skuhala versus Jean-Pierre is just really coming out of the opening, which looks like a Najdorf, but it's actually not. It's I'm looking at the opening name here at the top of, which is very nice that Chess.com has that feature.
It's your son's favorite opening, the pterodactyl.
That's right.
Right? He loves dinosaurs.
He loves dinosaurs. If you see on my Twitch, you'll see a beautiful photo of my son looking up at a dinosaur. And this apparently is the how do you pronounce that, Lauren?
I think the P is silent, just pterodactyl.
Yes, I should know that. Fabian probably knows that. I have to ask him.
Well, you can teach him it. I always thought this opening was the Austrian attack, but apparently when you throw the 3 pawns up there without developing the knight to c5, it's a pterodactyl. So you get a bit of actually you get a transposition into what looks like more like 11-fish opening of the dragon. Anyway, and then we did get a dragon by transposition, and we got wow, move h3 or move 8 is very, very strange by Skuhala. Normally you would just go bishop e2, and that's a classical dragon. But he decided to play h3, fair enough. Castles, I don't like h3 at all, because you weaken this g3 square especially, and sometimes knight h5, knight g3 is annoying. a6, a4, and now e5 by Jean-Pierre. Bishop d3, ef4, bishop f4, and precisely, knight h5. There you go, Jen.
That's right. So e5 is not a move you usually see in the dragon, but the idea here is that it's only temporary that our pawn is on e5, right? We're definitely going to wrench that diagonal open for our dragon bishop, because you can't play f5 and let us take and have the commanding center. And as the game turned out, you pointed out, Lawrence, the dark squares are very vulnerable now for white because he hasn't castled yet. If the bishop goes to h2, you can sneak in with the big gun. The queen comes to h4 with a check. By the way, I saw you retweeted it, Lawrence, but our friend Tanya Sashdev tweeted of the Delhi Dynamite, tweeted a phenomenal promotion to help underprivileged girls in India.
Yes.
And wow, I was really impressed by the promotion. It was called, I'm actually just going to look up exactly what it was called, Powerless Queen. The idea is that in developing countries, it's so important to get the women into the economy. And the way they demonstrated this principle was brilliant. First of all, by using Tanya, but secondly, there's actually a game that you can play where you can't move your queen.
Yeah, I love that.
It's so frustrating. I started playing the game and I was like, what? Because it was like not a very strong AI that I was playing against, but it beat me anyway. Did you lose?
I mean, I didn't play it yet, but no, I didn't play it yet. But I saw what Tanya's doing, and it's just wonderful. So
So
Guys, check that out.
powerlessqueen.com, check it out. See if you can win without being able to move your queen.
Yeah.
And report back to the Twitch chat if you can, because if you did, you
Yeah.
beat me.
Do that. That would be fun. And just to go back to this game, Jen, we've seen now a real drawback of all of this stuff, especially this move h3. Really hate this move on a move 8 by Shkuhala, because now after knight takes f4, rook takes f4, this is a dream. You've got a dark squared bishop that can plonk itself on e5. You've got a knight that can go there. And you've got all of these standard attacking ideas against the white king, which is lacking defenders. So, you know, bishop e5, and if the rook comes back to f1, you can play a move like queen g5, threatening bishop takes h3, or queen g3, followed by queen h2. And it's really, really gross. He played queen g5 immediately, which actually might be even stronger, of course, because now you threaten the rook and bishop takes h3. I expect a very, very quick win here.
But not as quick as Marcus Harvey's. What's going on right now with the Turtles? I think, you know, Lawrence, I think they might be a little depressed about being ousted from the league, because they've been impressive all season, but what a terrible start in this match against the Lions.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know, you can't do that, because they are at risk here. And when the Mosquitoes start up their match, we're gonna have to keep a close eye on that, because if they beat the Puffins, they could be right in there and into the teams that are guaranteed a spot in next year's Pro Chess League.
Yeah, and of course the Puffins, hailing from Reykjavik, people will know if you are watching the Chess.com stream, it's the Reykjavik Open as we speak, and many of the competitors who are playing in this league are there playing today. So there are a few absentees, and I believe they're playing at the moment, Jen. I think it's the third round, the evening round today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they are playing. They are definitely playing right now. I'm not sure when they are finished, but yeah, I know that Fiona and Simon are doing commentary for that, and what a fabulous event. I know you just came back from Reykjavik and you loved it.
I loved it. And I went to the harp with the place where they're playing, because it's a beautiful sort of music orchestra hall. Orchestra hall? Is that the right word? That's not the right word.
Sounds right. But we do have the game between the Jan Smeets of the Mosquitoes playing against Helgi Gredarsen.
Oh, okay.
You could open that on up.
Yeah, I didn't see. These guys have started down a bit further. Oh, wow, we've got a whole bunch of new games that have just started. Okay.
Yeah, this match between the Mosquitoes and the Puffins, so crucial. Whichever team wins this match is guaranteed a spot into next year's Pro Chess League, Lawrence, right?
Yeah, it's a big match.
It's a guarantee. Because, you know, and that's perfect for the Mosquitoes. It kind of reminds you of the situation that Norway was in against Estonia.
Yes.
That Norway controlled their own destiny. They had better tiebreaks. They beat Estonia. They were going to get in there in the playoffs.
Heartbreak. Absolute heartbreak. 7.5, 5.5, Jen.
I know. I saw it, and I got to tell you, Lawrence, I was enjoying the commentary by Anna and Danny, but by Anna Rudolph and Danny Wrench, but I did step away for a minute because I was like, I got to get ready for my stream, and it looks like, you know, Norway's got it in the bag. That's the main drama.
Incredible.
When I came back, I was also a little heartbroken. I do love the horses and some of the players, especially our own Alexander Onishuk from the U.S., but you got to like having Magnus in the mix. So, but it happens. That's why we play the games, and that's why the league is structured as it is, so that every team has a chance.
Absolutely.
You can't just stack them up with, you know, all the best players in the world. You need to balance out your superstars. And in this case, it didn't work out for the Gnomes.
No, it didn't. Well, let's see how the Mosquitoes do. This game here looks pretty normal. I don't like the fact that Gretarsen's queen is opposite this black rook. Jan has gone for the very quick bishop f5 and rook c8. And now he's trying to find a way to punish white. We'll come back to that. Perhaps we can see King Luke, one of the superstars of this league. The former, I'm going to guess he was top, what do you reckon, Jen? Was he top 8 in the world at some point, Luke van Bailey?
8 is such a like perfect number, Lawrence. I'm gonna say top 12.
12.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not
because you
betting.
said
I'm not
8.
betting with you. Just so you know, those days are over. Over.
Yes, yes. Well, that's what you say.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
sure.
never over.
I'm sure the
They're
next
never over.
time we meet, we'll find something to bet on because it'll probably be in Vegas the next time we
Oh
meet.
God, don't say that. He was rated 2714 in October of 2001. Um, so what
But
you do,
we can ask our Twitch chat.
yeah, Twitch will know. But actually, it's really easy. You just look this up, and he was dun 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 number 10.
Oh,
Number 10 in
we were
our.
exactly. So what would have been a push,
It would
Lawrence?
have been a push. There we go. Everybody loves a push.
He
Uh,
loves a push. I love it. But everybody doesn't love draws, right, Lawrence?
Everybody doesn't love draws. That is 100% true. Everybody doesn't love draws. I haven't drawn a game for 8. Anyway, Luc van Velde is playing here against FIDE master David Kjartansson. And it's one of those positions that's actually really deceptive. It's a position where you would say, well, white's got more space, white's got more active pieces, but actually it's one of those positions where I actually prefer black. And the
We
reason
also have. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was going to say the reason I prefer black here is because of this pawn here on e5. I always find that to be a nuisance, and because of this knight on d5 is extremely strong. If white were to have a bishop lurking here on b1, let's say, then I would be a bit more hopeful about white's position. But white doesn't have this really key light square bishop, which sets up all kinds of Greek gifts ideas on h7. So I think King Luke is fine.
And how about that other game that we predicted was going to be a win for, was it? It was one of the turtles.
Jan Smeets.
The Skuhala. We thought that that game was in the bag, and it does look like black's just up in exchange for nothing. So it's going to be a really big start. I'm sorry, rather for the Lion Jean-Pierre Leroy.
Yeah. No, this game is. You don't survive this with white against a grandmaster ever. He's got like a pawn as well, like check. Rookie one is coming. Actually, it's just resigned straight away here.
So what happened there, Lawrence? Was it perhaps a kind of confusion where he got tricked into a dragon, and normally he wouldn't play that? I think that's what it was.
It's this move here. I'm showing the viewers, Jen, on move 8. This is the critical move here. You absolutely must just play bishop e2, covering this square and getting ready to castle. But instead, when you play the move h3, this is a terrible move, strategically speaking, because now, after knight h5, the knight can jump into this very weak square, and as Jean-Pierre illustrated, when you move the e-pawn, the queen can also come and join the party. So, just a really, really bad mistake by Skuhala. It's quite a serious mistake as well for somebody of his level, I would say. So he won't be happy about that. He'll have to bounce back in the next game. So where to go to next, Jennifer? Where to go to next?
Well, let's keep an eye on that King Luke game. I mean, that one just looks really interesting, and that without that light squared bishop, Lawrence, I really do feel that black can actually end up getting the upper hand in this line. The pawn on e5 creates so much attacking chances, but I always want a bishop on b1, c2, d3 to make it happen.
Precisely. That's exactly what I said. So I'm actually not very optimistic about white's position at all here. Rook ac1, queen b7 will be played, or queen b8. And actually now we see a problem with this e5 pawn, as we were saying. How do you even defend this guy on e5? Not clear at all to me. How you defend
Meanwhile,
yes,
Helgi Olafsson's game has begun as well against Rob Duon.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting one. It's a very closed position in which, at first glance, it seems like perhaps you gotta love white because of that knight on e5.
Yeah, but actually, again, it's one of those positions which feels like it's extremely deceptive to me. I actually would say that black's quite a bit better here. And the reason being that black is nice and set up now just to kick this knight away with f6. And then once you play f6, it's black who's got the breaking opportunities in the center. So f6, the knight would come back to f3. And here with black, you've got a whole bunch of ideas. You can always bring the queen out along this diagonal. And you can try and, basically you'd want to try and improve this bishop. Maybe you would play a move like bishop to c6 to try and maybe situate it on b5. And these light squares could be telling at some point. The weakness on the light squares, I should say. Queen a2, and actually queen a4 was played. Another really interesting move by Olafsson.
I like it.
I like it. Now bishop a6 is in the air, improving that bishop.
That's a great idea. Queen c2 could become a nag.
Yeah. And this knight on d6 is really the key piece here, because it controls e4, c4, and f7. This is just an absolutely stunning knight on d6. And if I had to take a side, I would take black definitely here.
Key piece, stunning knight. I like these positional witticisms that you're inserting, Lawrence. I'm also checking out the chat, and Jughandle10 asks if I'm streaming from Philly and how do I have power, because there's actually, like, despite the fact that it's mid-March, Lawrence, it's it's snowing. There's a snowstorm in Philadelphia now, so it's beautiful, but it is kind of crazy. So, you know, if my power goes out, you'll have to ride solo.
That's all right. Not the first time, I tell you. Been riding solo for many a year.
Not anymore, I understand.
Not anymore. Not well. Anyway, let's not go there. So, yeah, actually in Europe as well, there was a cold snap, Siberian winds, they said. There was snow in London. It was -11 in Berlin about a week ago. It was a tad chilly around here, you know. A tad chilly. Chilly in Philly. But you've got power.
Ooh, and now we have the big guns starting up. Okay. Marseille Migraines, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave playing against Thomas Rendell.
Wow.
And now, remember that right now, the Migraines are in second place by virtue of tiebreak over the underneath the snowballs. But it's only 1.5 points tiebreak less. And today they're playing the Towers, who are in the basement. The basement tower, is that a...
Tower of the basements. Yeah,
that doesn't
basement
sound
tower.
Right.
Yeah. Basement
that sounds like a contradiction, right? Oxymoron?
Somehow. But
the Towers are in the basement, and the Migraine's obviously a huge favorite, but they're also thinking, can we try to win this match by a big margin and overtake the Snowballs? Yeah,
they want to win this. That's why MBL's playing. This is going to be... They're going to be viewing this as a massacre opportunity.
What kind of opening is this? It's a kind of like Alapin C3 Sicilian.
It's a C3. This was called the Soltis variation, I believe.
The what variation?
The Soltis, named after Andrew Soltis, wasn't it? 3C3.
Okay, yes, a wonderful writer is Soltis. I mean, he writes a monthly column in Chess Life magazine, and he just always comes up with something interesting.
Pretty sure it's the Soltis variation.
Anyway, the whole point of the Soltis variation, as you call it, I like that, is that you play 4 bishop e2.
Yeah.
And they can't capture that pawn on e4 because of queen a4 chat.
I'm showing all of this, Jen, so.
Okay, lovely.
Nice trick. And a part of that variation as well here, guys, is after bishop e2, if white goes knight c6, then you can go d4 with white. And the point is after c takes d4, c takes d4, knight takes e4, you can sometimes have the same trick with d5. Black is actually okay after queen a5 check, but after knight e5, this would be a huge mistake, because now white, once again, would have this trick with queen a4 and queen takes e4. Remember that one, guys. It's a good little blitz opening. But after bishop e2, Maxim plays bishop d7. Now the e4 pawn is on breeze. Queen c2, knight c6 and d4. But after all of this, this queen does get hit very early. Queen b3, knight a6 played. And Thomas actually took it off. Very daring. Giving MBL the 2 bishops. And we have a position where black has got the 2 bishops, but white has managed to wreck the black pawn structure, but MBL won't be too sad about that. You know, these positions are very Najdorf-esque as well, somehow. So I think MBL is going to be very happy with this position. Lots of potential.
And we do have the hammer in the chat. Of course, no doubt, blowing off some steam of disappointment that the Norway Gnomes did not make it into the playoffs, but always welcome. And he's in there accepting condolences and answering questions, so much appreciated. You know, how do you like to blow off steam, Lawrence, after you've had a tough tough loss in chess. And this is
Don't,
not a loss.
don't even go there, all right? Don't even go there. One thing I did realise, Jen, and whoa, hold on a second, little Tommy Rendell with the old knight takes e5. I remember
I
seeing
like it. So
yeah,
D takes e5. We've got d6 trapping the bishop
yeah.
on e7.
This is a great move.
And does that not just pick up a pawn? Well, I guess after d6, you can play bishop d6,
Yeah,
queen d6, retaining the pawn. But white's got to be better there with the big
much
queen
better,
invasion.
much
We're
better.
threatening queen takes c5. You can't really move your knight on f6 because of knight d5. So we'll play takes on d6, queen d6, rook e8, bishop g5. Looks great for white.
Amazing. What a find by Thomas. A5 must have been a mistake or something went wrong for MVL because now white is just simply better. You're absolutely right, Jen. Great
But queen
find.
b8 is a better choice than rook e8, I think. I like this move that Maxime Vachier-Lagrave played, trying to immediately destabilize the queen. I guess he thinks that after a move like rook d1, white just doesn't have a lot because you trade queens, you play rook b8, and despite the doubled pawns in the a file, they actually limit white's development of c1. So to trade or not to trade, Lawrence?
No, rook d1's correct because actually your line here after rook d1, if queen takes d6, rook takes d6, I don't actually see a good move there for black. Because
you don't like rook b8 because of what, bishop g5?
just bishop g5 and we're threatening to take on
Right.
f6.
So no time to actually do anything on b2 because of the hanging piece.
Precisely.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's a nice little sequence there. So now the pressure is on Maxime. Will, what you often have in these queen trade situations is that one side will say, you take my queen. Because when we play queen d6, rook d6, we're actually getting white some extra development with the active rook on d6. So maybe we don't want to give him that opportunity. Instead, we try to continue developing here as black.
Yeah, but it's not that easy to even continue developing because white's next move is just a tempo, bishop g5, and with a serious threat. So it's not like you can just play a move like rook c8 here.
Or rook d8.
Rook d8, bishop g5.
Rook d8, bishop g5. Okay, yeah.
Show me the money. I mean, you can take on b2, but that looks, just knight d5, or maybe not even knight d5. Maybe you can take on f6, gf6, and then knight d5. I mean, this can end in tears very quickly.
And so what happened was that Maxime played the move bishop g4.
Yeah. Well, now...
is he just inducing f3 and then he's going to go back to e6 with the idea that he has some checks on the a7, g1 diagonal later that could prove annoying?
I believe so.
He did immediately retreat to e6, which is, of course, a better square than d7, since now bishop g5 will not have the same bite as it would with the bishop hanging there in the d7 square.
I mean, now, though, the pawn is protected on e4, so, Thomas could even, if he wanted to, just play a move like pawn to b3 here. But just play b3, and the bishop can now come out to a3, it can come to b2, can also come to e3, and if b3, queen b6 check, I think you can even just take that off, because this b6 pawn in the end will be super weak, a move like bishop e3, rook b8, and now white's just cruising, a move like knight b5, and white's just much better. So a few options here for Thomas. I just really like his position. I think he's doing, and he did play b3. b3, rook c8 is indeed on the board, and now maybe bishop b2. Simply, yeah. I like it.
Indeed, this is what's happening.
Great position. Great position.
Thomas Rendell really
there we go.
Putting a huge challenge against the champ, the highest rated player in this division, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, the legend.
Yep. Let's go to another game.
They're super top heavy today, the Migraines, because they also have Etienne Bicrot on board too. Heavy hitters. In this case, we also have a situation where the towers are keeping pace despite being outrated and, of course, outranked in the Pro Chess League, as the towers are on the bottom of the table. But Peter Robertson, so far, not being intimidated by his 2,700 opponent, and it seems like white is quite fine here. A little better, right? Don't you think? I mean, we have more development.
Well, there's a little backstory to this game, because this is the exact opening that I played against Vladimir Kramnik when we played at the Isle of Man tournament last year, where unfortunately I let him get away with a draw, but it's exactly the same opening with 7 knight bd2 in the Gioco Piano, which is actually a forced draw by force. I mean, black can make a draw, and in fact they went down one of the main lines here with 11d6, and Bacro reacted correctly with d5, and you get just a very equal position like we see here. So this is not a winning attempt at all by white, but it is a great attempt to equalize the position. And here white's just got any move. Rook c7 is good enough. Etienne will go rook e7 here, pretty sure about that. And
Speaking
yes,
of winning attempts, our man Luke Van Wheelie of the Mosquitoes has a really nice, instructive endgame here.
Beautiful.
That equal pawns, but what do we have? We have the outside passed pawn, and as Anna likes to call them, Anna Rudolph, taking a twist on Simon's naming of them for little boys, has called the a7 pawn Anna, and it's looking pretty good. All right.
No, I mean, this position's a disaster for white. The king is also super active. That's another important. The king comes into f5 real quick and snake its way into g4. You can attack e5. It's just a very, very... This pawn is weak on c4, and this knight is just a beast here on e6. I would say black's chances of winning this are in the high 80%, practically speaking.
Yeah, but I love to see that play out, because that's really something.
We'll watch
so
that.
Instructive, right?
It really will be. Yeah, I mean, and Luke is a technician himself. Do you then call the f pawn Fabi, Jen, if you're calling them after little boys?
They're supposed to be little girls, actually, because they're like princesses, right?
Oh, right. So
yeah,
it's not Harry the H pawn, it's Henrietta the H pawn.
Yes, that's right. I love it.
Okay.
You gotta get more powerful queens in the game, Lawrence.
I
right?
agree.
We were talking about the Powerless Queen project.
I agree. I think
how little fun chess is with no women or girls in, right?
I couldn't agree more with you. My goodness. Take me back to the Under-16 World Championships in Spain, and we'll continue this story on another stream. I tell you. All right. Shout out, by the way, if you're watching.
That was when you were 16, understand? Yes. Just to clarify for
everybody.
And
it was completely
You
legit.
were also 15 or 16.
Yeah. No. Was that in the 90s? Holy smokes. Could have been.
No, Lawrence, you're not a dinosaur.
No, it was 2001, maybe. All right, okay. We survived. All right. This game, we're going to see Luke do a little technician's job there. Jan Smeets has got a fantastic position against Gretarsson, where Jan is actually a pawn down, but the activity of this rook hitting this pawn is a real problem for white. He can't defend it easily because castles runs into bishop takes h3, winning a piece, so that's no good at all. And we did get a result. Andy Horton lost. So that means, actually, let's get a scores on the doors here, Jen. We got 2-2 in the Turtles versus the Lions.
Oh, really? How'd that happen? Because we were basically looking at the two games that the Turtles got totally smashed in, right? Yeah. The tortoise versus the hare.
Did you see that video recently?
Yeah, I saw that.
Brilliant.
The turtle won. But I don't know. I don't think they did a version with a lion versus a turtle.
Right, that's true. I don't think.
I don't know. I don't know how well that would go.
Who do you think?
We do have a very important comment coming through on the chat from Commissioner Greg Shahade. Very important announcement.
Okay.
Jennifer Shahade is within half a point of first place in the fantasy.
What?
it's pretty significant because I usually come in last. So
Oh my
everything's
goodness.
upside down in this match, Lawrence. In
Oh
fact,
my goodness.
things are so upside down. Maybe you and I should bet on something.
Oh goodness me. After today's roller coaster ride on the markets, I'm not sure my heart can handle. All right, go on then.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
I'm
We
really.
also have a poker player who El Sarasha who doesn't I don't think she plays chess at all because she asks, can you go all in while playing chess?
You certainly
Lawrence?
can. Just check out my games over the past 10 years and you'll see what all in's all about. You can go in all in metaphorically. Basically, I think the all in scenarios. What's her name? Sorry, his name.
El Sriracha.
El Sriracha.
El Sriracha.
Is that
That's her handle. Yeah.
El Sriracha? So El Sriracha, if you're a poker player, the way I would describe the all in situations in chess are more often than not when you are basically busted. So your position is unsound, and you've got to. It's one last throw of the dice. You've got to throw something at your opponent's king, or create some ghosts that he can get scared of. I would say that's the all-in situation in chess. Would you agree with that, Jim?
Yeah, and I think we end up seeing them, in these league matches quite
For sure.
often. There's one game where I feel like we might end up seeing it soon, Lawrence, because
Go
we
on.
got Miguel Admiral for the
Yes.
Mosquitoes against John Victor Gunnarsson, and this game is really critical with just a minute and a half left for the Mosquitoes and 3.5 for the Puffin. The Puffins just played this move, rook to h8, guarding against knight takes h5 ideas from white.
I'm trying to find this game, Jen.
You want me to give you the handles?
Yeah.
Just Mig. It's I am just Mig for Miguel of the Mosquitoes.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, this one's gonna go to the wire. I suggest we actually stay with this one because it looks like it's gonna get really interesting. Knight a3 was just played, hoping to pick up the light squared bishop, which kind of causes a lot of tactical problems.
Yeah. Who's better and why? It's not clear to me that white is better here because this bishop on a2 is really pathetic. I mean,
Yeah,
look at that. I mean,
maybe we should have just let them take it. Yeah. I'm not seeing, but on the other hand, the knight on a3 isn't doing anything if it's not taking the bishop on b1. So could you argue that both minor pieces are equally bad?
no, because I think this knight on a3 always has a future on c2, and now this bishop on a2 is actually trapped, to a certain extent. It can't move. I mean, it's a woeful bishop. And now exactly what black did, rook c7. Now this is the reason I like black's position, because he can forcibly gain control of the c-file. After rook takes c7, queen takes c7, queen d2. But now queen c3 is a serious move, I guess. But then rook c1, takes, maybe you're okay. Okay, maybe this is just about okay then for white if queen d2 works. Actually, black has got to be a bit careful. These little ponies sitting here on f3 and g3. If you move this rook away from c8, white might fling his queen into g5 here, Jen, setting up all kinds of counterplay on the king side. Maybe I was a bit too bullish on black's chances, and actually white's got a decent game or decent counterplay. Because you're right, the knights are temporarily restricted, and that bishop on b7 is hardly good. So maybe I'm just not seeing things well.
I think that he's so what you're saying, the line I really like is that suppose white had a queen on g5 and black played queen d8, that idea of knight h5. Love it.
Yeah, exactly. Knight h5.
And queen e7 was just played to try to stop the queen from coming to g5.
Yes.
So white played rook c1, rook c8 now on the board. White's just playing super fast because it's 1 minute to 2 minutes. And now we're going to see...
well, knight e1 must be the move here. You've
knight
got to
e1 to play knight c2?
No, to play knight d3.
Okay.
And then come to c5 or attack the b4 pawn. I would be playing knight e1 at tempo here.
Okay, knight e1. I guess I got to get my knight on a5 back into the game. I'd probably play knight c6.
And then I would just go knight e2.
Instead of h4 played, maybe he wants to play knight g5. I don't really see what it does, but
okay, well,
fling some pieces over there.
Yeah, you fix some pawns. Bishop
for some
d7.
kind of all-in situation.
This isn't an all-in situation. This is not quite.
It's not. Although you can imagine a scenario where white will like just start sacrificing if the queen ever goes away, but that might just be really good, or more of like a draw at worst case. But instead he played this move knight e2. He's trying to play
Now
knight
he's going to go
f4.
g3. Now he wants to go g3. He's going to go g3. There we go. And he wants to go knight e1, knight d3. This is...
Okay, and look at the clock, though. He's got only 14 seconds left. Has he gone down too low, Lawrence?
Well, we've seen stranger things happen in the Pro Chess League. 14 seconds, you're still getting additional time, 2 seconds per move. But it ain't a lot of time. Do you know what? Black should really be looking at bishop takes a4 and b3. In fact, I'm surprised he didn't do that on the last move. Bishop takes a4 followed by b3 for the prize. Does that work?
That looks like this. That looks like some fun.
Yeah, because now this knight's got a square on c4 as well to hit the queen with tempo. I would be snapping that off. Give him some.
And he's thinking about it, but his clock is draining down past under a minute. And he finally thinks for a while and plays queen a7, keeping pressure on the d4 pawn. Immediate king g2 by the Mosquito. Knight d3. He's taking opportunity now that the knight has retreated from that square. Knight c5, knight f5. Now
still
that's
a
a
very
nice
tricky
square.
position. Yeah, still
It's a
very
nice square for the
I would
knight.
be going f3 here, a tempo. No, he didn't do it.
He went knight f4. He's looking for, there's little cheapos now sometimes with knight takes e6 check.
Yeah.
Queen e7 played pretty quickly. Queen d3. White has to play quickly. He has 5 seconds left now.
Yeah, queen d3. Now bishop b1. No, I had, of course, the d4 pawns hanging queen d2.
White's repeated moves once, but I don't anticipate black trying to repeat here with so much extra time. Bishop d7 played. Instead, he's reconfiguring his bishop. White's literally just playing queen d2 to d1 to d3 to save time.
Yeah.
And you know what? Not the worst idea in the world when you have 5 seconds left, Lawrence.
Yeah,
He's trying to play moves quickly, see if black can do anything.
It's probably a draw now because.
But what about knight h5 now? Or is he ready to play knight h5?
Nah, never
or
works.
G4 maybe. Then after queen g4 h5.
But g4 knight takes h4 is the problem.
Okay, well maybe now.
Yeah, but it's really risky.
It is really risky, but weren't we talking about going all in? Maybe wait till like...
If you need to go all in, but it's the first game, Jen, maybe a draw is just okay here for the Mosquitoes. I mean, what's the actual score? The Mosquitoes are...
And look at that. Knight takes d4, queen d4, knight c2. Look at that tactic, Lawrence.
Ooh.
So he's winning a piece. Sharp eye. I mean, winning a pawn.
Well...
But not so fast.
Not quite.
Although, okay. Queen c3. Nice move. Ooh, queen d1.
Knight d4.
24 seconds left for the puffin.
Bishop a6. No, king f7 I would play here. We played knight d4. Bishop e1. Now b3 is hanging. I'd go queen takes b3, yeah.
And it looks like white is going to go down in this game. This is just not good.
Queen c3 here. Just go back.
Just stopping all counterplay. But instead he went for knight f3 check.
Also
he didn't listen to your sage wisdom, which, it's not the same because now king g2, queen c3, we take the queen and we take the knight. I don't like this as much as your idea, Lawrence.
Oh, what? Has he done this? Why did he do this? Now knight e6 check is in the air. What has he done?
I don't know, Lawrence. Maybe he thought this was winning.
It's a draw. It's a draw. This is a famous repetition.
Maybe he hallucinated, thought this line was winning after knight a1 check, king a2.
Blew it.
But there's no more checks. You just got to keep going back
King
and
h3.
forth.
The balls. Queen g4, king h2, and now knight f3, king h1 is okay. Because h3 is covered.
Oh my God, that knight on f4. He's going for the win.
He's going for the win.
White is going for the win.
And he's going in with his king. He's completely blown it.
And White's going to do it.
Queen d4.
Oh my God.
Wow.
What a performance by the Mosquitoes.
Heartbreak.
But what incredible nerves shown by the Mosquito.
Queen
Knight
h8.
back, the game
Knight
is
e2,
over.
that's good. Beautiful.
Yeah, we both saw different ways to win the queen, right?
Yeah.
But I guess, yours maybe not as good because of
No, knight e2 is better.
king c4. But wow, the Mosquito just played fantastically. When you consider the fact that he had 5 seconds for about, what was it, 25 moves?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, Jen. Sometimes sometimes it, you know, sometimes it works out for you. You might have 5 seconds, and there you go.
Indeed. Wow. Well, that was a great start for the Mosquitoes. By the way, they're up 3 points on the Puffin in this first match. So the Puffins are going to have to hope now that the Turtles don't lose, because otherwise they're going to get relegated.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Obviously the match is not over yet. It's not over yet.
It's not over.
I'm just saying that's a really bad start.
That is a bad. I mean, it's not great, is it? Let's be honest. It's 3-0 down.
That's ominous, as we would say. And whoa, what's happening to the Puffins, who usually have such great team spirit? But is it going to be a wipeout, because Helgi Olafsson is still playing in a time scramble endgame? Of course, a time scramble. And that game was drawn. So a 3.5 to half Mosquitoes over the Puffins in the first game. Let's go to the highest rated player in this division, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. It looks like he is getting the job done against Thomas Rendell. He has an extra pawn, and that pawn is poised.
Yeah,
this
is
there.
Yeah, this is bad news. This is
Ella.
This is
Emma.
bad news. This is.
What do you like, Ella, Emma?
Yeah, Ella, Emma. One of those is decent.
Really pretty, Emily.
Emily, yeah. I've been watching a great series on Netflix, Jen, called The Last Kingdom.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's about Vikings, and been really enjoying it, and some fabulous names. And if I ever have a boy, Jen, we've decided on the name. It's going to be Utrecht.
Flavian?
Utrecht. Utrecht.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice Utrecht, son of Utrecht. That's the full name, Utrecht, son of Utrecht. Shout out to everybody who's watched The Last Kingdom, by the way, on Netflix. Great little series, highly recommendable. Lots of fun.
Shout out to everybody watching now.
I don't know what people are. I don't know what's in at the moment. What's in vogue, to be honest. I don't really know.
Right. So yeah, Maxime seems like he's displaying some pretty good technique here. Unsurprisingly, he's just going to. He didn't queen the pawn because I guess he thought, the king was getting to c5 too quickly. But now that first he moves his king to stop the white king from getting through. Then he's going to queen, and game, of course, would be over at that point.
Yeah, and in fact, Leon Beast did win. But this is a real shame for Thomas, because he had a great position. Do you remember he had a stunning position? So what happened?
Yeah, I did remember that.
B3, 97, rook d2, queen b6 check, and he took it off here. I don't like that. It kind of went wrong. Yeah, no, Thomas. No. Even this position. Really? You know, MVL with his knights, he's just brutal. Even after that, it looked good for Thomas. It looks like there were lots of mistakes. Anyway, let's go to another game.
We've got Yannick Gazzoli of the Migraines versus Yanchenko of the Towers. And this is a pretty crucial game because we're trying to see if the Migraines are going to win this and if they'll win it by a large match. And what happened? Did somebody just play Queen A3, allowing? I'm confused.
I don't know what's going on. It looks totally.
Didn't somebody play Queen A3, allowing Queen takes A3 check? It looks like we came in at like a massive blunder. You see what? You see what I'm saying?
I'm looking at it right now. Chat, help us out. Queen A3, right? So if I'm white here after Queen A3 check, the queen, which can move like a bishop, right? Queens move like a bishop, right, Jen? Right? Or did they change the rules? It just goes 1, 2 squares to the diagonal up left, and you can just take it. Right? Or am I going?
No, I mean that was absolutely bizarre. I mean, it almost looked like maybe a mouse slip followed by a pre-move. Like maybe he meant to go Queen B3 check, and yeah, that must be it. It must have been like he was expecting Queen B3, and maybe he almost pre-moved Rook C3. Seems a little.
But why would you pre-move Rook C3?
Because you think your opponent's going to play Queen B3. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you don't pre-move
You
it with a
don't
minute.
know because, well, you come
No.
up with an explanation.
Well, I mean, it's just, you know, even grandmasters miss hanging queens sometimes.
All right. Well, Queen A3 check was missed. Rook C3 happened. Queen D6. By the way, that was bigger than the blunder I saw in the game Andreikin versus Sachev, because there was a spot where Andreikin played Rook C6 and
I
Tanya couldn't
remember.
get it.
Yeah.
The queen takes C6, but there was a hallucination that the knight on D5 could play knight E7 fork, king on G2. At least there's like some explanation, right? This is just complete leave a piece on a square, no explanation, right?
Yeah, no, this is complete insanity.
But anyway,
Um,
where does that leave us? Who's better in the position that we have right now?
well, I mean, it's really tricky.
It looks like white
Yeah.
is very aggressive here. We're threatening all sorts of dangerous ideas, taking on H6. F7 is hanging.
I
Queen
would
F1
take white
ideas.
here because my attack, it plays itself, and black has to defend. Queen D6, like G takes H6. What's going on?
Queen H6. So G8-6, you can't play Queen takes H6 because a
Right.
rook takes F7,
Exactly.
check, and then we win the queen on H6. So you would have to play King H8, I think, so that you don't allow a free check with rook takes F7.
Yeah.
But
And
instead
that-
of taking on H6, Gasoli played rook to F6 himself.
Also good. Also very good. Let's be
Queen
honest.
D3, rook F3 check, queen back to D6. Is this just going to be a draw by repetition?
Well, he could have won a queen about 5 moves ago. You know, so. And GH6 King H8 is on the board, Jen.
So he switched it up. I like it. Play for the win.
He's going to take on F7 here.
He's playing for the win. I like it.
No, he's not. Is he?
Rook F7. I guess we have to take on C6.
Yeah. Or E4 check first.
Or E4 check.
But now Queen F4. Now Queen F4.
You're just getting your king in.
Yeah, but maybe it's not.
F4.
King
Instead he
H4.
played King H4.
King H4. The stones on the kid. Incredible. Queen D8 check. And now what? Really?
He's played Queen G5. He has that idea
takes,
of
rook
yours
takes
to get that
C6.
king.
But I mean, the great thing about this position, Jen, is if all the black pawns disappeared, it'd still be a draw.
Yeah, this is a Philidor, right?
Right.
Basically just a Philidor. So
just a
this
draw.
should be a draw.
It's just
Yeah,
a
I
draw.
guess maybe we should move on to another game
Yeah.
now, because I think that one is in the bag. You never say in the bag in the Pro Chess League. This time control is punishing, but as close to it as we can get.
It's in the bag. Where do you want to go, Jen?
Well, let's see. It seems like there's not too many time scrambles left at the moment. I do see that Leonardo is playing against Marcus Harvey of the Lions. That match, of course, is very crucial. And
Leonardo against Marcus Harvey. Okay.
yeah, white's up a pawn. Black's up a pawn. White has complete compensation. That's okay. We can move to another good one. King Luke is playing.
Oh,
again.
I've got it. I've got Leonardo. I've got him. He actually spells his name slightly differently. It's
yeah,
L3.
he trips you up. Leonardo with a 3.
Yeah. This is a great position for white. This is really, I think it's a great position. Black's pawn structure is shattered on the king side, but black does get his pieces out successfully with knight a6, knight c7. So the big question is, what is white going to do? What can white do here, Jen? In this snowy day in Philadelphia.
Oh, it's so pretty. Let it snow. Rook to d6, knight ace. Rook to d6 has happened, by the way.
Yeah, rook to d6. So he wants to go f5 and then play rook takes f6, I guess.
Yeah, you can't play knight d7 because f5 just wins a piece.
Exactly.
So in order to continue developing, you have to play knight a6, and then you're saying just play f5.
I guess. And also the bishop's got no good squares here. Has to go back to c8 and then rook takes f6. And if king g7, just swing the rook back to d6 and it looks like it's okay for white.
So Black hasn't defended the pawn. Instead, he played king to f8. He hasn't developed his knight. He played king to f8. Now, if f5, maybe he's trying to play king e7, little in between move, right? But actually, White did not play f5. White played b3.
Yeah, I like b3. King e7 and now rook a d1. And the point is that bishop d5 is one of these normal tricks here. But actually, after bishop d5, knight f5 check is a really annoying move which attacks the king, protects the rook, and then you're threatening just to take on d5. So, so that's very good. So a5. So Marcus is trying to get his pawn going this way with a5, and what to do now? What to do? I've got an idea, Jen. You ready?
Let's hear it.
My body's ready. f5 with white. Where do you go? Well, you've only got 2 squares. Oh no, bishop d5 now works. Sorry, if we go f5, bishop d5 now works. This is what we call a prop. Oh no, you can take on d5. Hold on. Can you take on d5? King takes d6, d takes c6 check. King c7 and c takes b7.
That's got to be good for White, don't you think?
Rook a7, rook c1 check. King moves somewhere. And then rook down to c8. Wow. So can you go f5? He did it. f5, and now bishop c8, and now e5. This was my idea, Jen.
Okay, e5, this happened. F takes e5.
And now f6 check.
F6 check, king to f8 on the board.
And now the question is, it feels as though we've got a mating construction here. So if we go rook d8, it's not mate just yet.
Not yet. Because we could just move our bishop,
so
I guess.
Bishop e4, also very good.
Bishop e4, nice move. I like that. Just, you know.
He'll go knight a6 here.
Even just taking the h7 pawn and like the h4 pawn will move up the board later.
Yeah, or is there another idea?
Well, I still like rook d8's always in the air, but it does. Unfortunately, there's no threat because after you play rook e8, the king takes on e8, and that actually kind of helps Black get pieces back into the game, right?
Right.
So I think really the idea here is not even to play that, but just to take on h7 and then just start pushing your pawn, move the knight on at h4 and start pushing guy.
Just thinking like of a plan.
Henrietta. Henrietta, that does sound very elegant.
It's a very old name, Henrietta. But another idea White might have here, Jen, is actually to skadoodle the king to f2 and then switcheroo the rooks to the g file and just say, I'm going to play rook g8, my little chum.
Can you skadoodle and switcheroo at the same time?
I think so. It's called the skadoodle switcherooski. Which very, very complex move. If you look in your Dvoretsky books, Jen, you would have actually seen the skadoodle switcheroo technique, but clearly you've not been booking up on your Dvoretsky recently. But by the way, rest in peace.
What's going on? Whoa, what's going on in the game between Andy Horton and Donatello? I'm like so confused.
Well,
it looks like somebody has an internet problem or a no-show issue.
What? Andy Horton's playing moves. Smooth as a hedgehog. Yep, the game's ongoing. He's just down on time.
Oh, I think there might be some issue with that game on my computer. Sorry about that. I'll get it back up. But there's a bunch of other games going on. We got Luke Van Wheelie against Greg Arson of the Puffins.
We do have Lukey Boy against Gretarsson, Helgi, and a typical Lukey Boy position, you know. It was an Indian game, the Mexican defense. Yep, the Mexican defense.
The Mexican.
You get somebody else to build the wall. in front of you. You know, that's the next.
I'm not even gonna.
We're not going to go there. We're not going there.
Viva
Viva Mexico. You know, I used to live there, Jen, right?
I did. I think I did know that.
Yeah.
But
I lived in Toluca.
I feel like the Mexican defense. I don't know. This doesn't seem like a very good.
It's not very sturdy.
I think they need a second one. This isn't fair.
I mean, look at this opening. D595. Are you for real? Actually, it's not that bad, by the way.
Well, but to be fair, there was also the American opening, which is like this really terrible variation of the Grunfeld, right? The Grunfeld where you don't even, like against knight f3, where you don't even get to take on c3.
Right. Yeah, there's all kinds of strange openings. Of course, the best opening in the world, Jen, is the London system. By far the most proven, the most solid, most reliable.
You don't live in London anymore, right?
Well, I don't really, but you know, still I'm from there, and
the London and the Berlin, two of the most exciting openings in chess.
Yeah. There we go. Do you know what? I am just a little before we go to the next game, Jen. I was speaking to Magnus the other day. We often have a bit of banter in chat, and I said, "Have you actually?" I said, "You know, you're not white. You know why you're not one of the greatest, right?" And he said, "Why?" I said, "Well, you haven't even got an opening named after you, right? How can you be the greatest world champion of all time? He hasn't even got an opening, the kid." So I said, "Look, me and you, we're going to try and get you an opening, buddy. Let's try."
What about knight h3?
Knight h3. Yeah, I mean, they should name it after Magnus, really. But has he got an opening? I was only joking there about the trolling. Has he got an opening, or what's going on?
I think he should get one because you know how all the kids like to play the dragon because it sounds cool. I know that if there was a Magnus opening, everybody would want to start playing it, no matter how bad it was, right?
Well, has he got an opening? Chat, help me out here. Has Magnus got an opening? Or maybe not an opening, but a variation, you know? There's a bazillion Kasparov variations, and there's loads of Smyslov, and there's Kramnik lines, and there's, you know, Karpov variations everywhere. But where is the, you know, where is the Magnus? Where is it? Yeah.
Oh my, great question, Lawrence. Meanwhile, this spellbound. I'm kind of spellbound by this game between Marcus Harvey of the Lions and Scorbani of the Turtles.
It's an interesting game, isn't it?
It's a great game. He did snip the H pawn, and Black managed to trade off one of the rooks, which feels kind of like an achievement because both of those rooks are kind of hard to handle. But at the same time, now Black's left with a position where all of his pieces are sleeping, right? We still have our bishop, our king, and our rook are all in their original squares, right?
Right.
And it's moved 29.
Sleeping
usually
in
not a good sign, right?
I want to try something so insanely audacious here. It's got to be bad.
Okay, insanely audacious. Let's do it.
I want to go knight g6.
All right, knight g6. Well, he did not go for it. He played just knight to f3, threatening bishop takes d7 and knight takes e5.
Yeah, but then the bishop goes to e6 and black stabilizes. So knight g6. Hear me out here, Jen. Knight g6, f takes g6, bishop takes g6 check, king f8, and now f7. And my idea is you can't move the knight because rook d8 check wins. And my idea is I actually want to play rook e6 followed by rook e8 check on the next move, followed by rook g8 check, and then claim that I'm going to like queen my h-pawn. Is this the most ridiculous thing in the world? Or is it utter genius? Chat, help me out. Put it on the computer and scorn me. Scorn me,
Are you a genius? Are you a comic genius? Or just a regular genius?
I can tell you something. I've never been called a chess genius. If there's a genius, it's not a chess genius.
Knight f3, a4, immediately played. Black's like, I need to get my rook into the game. And you know, I like this move a4.
Of course. Yeah.
The rook was sleeping, but if the rook gets into the game, suddenly anything can happen. All three results.
And also, if b4,
the turtles are down on the clock, 1 minute to almost 6 minutes for the lion Marcus Harvey.
And the other problem is if white goes b4 here, now you go a3 with black, fixing this a2 pawn. And then if bishop takes d7, knight takes e5, bishop e6, we now highlight one of the problems with this little combination, because now this a2 pawn is hanging, and that's a very fast a pawn. In fact, black would just be winning here. So this is why I felt like, oh, he's gone with h4, and now black can open the a file, and now this rook has got room to wander. So where is he going to go? Where do we go now? I guess he's going to go rook a3, would be my suggestion. Try and pick up
Rook a3, maybe just rook a5, defending the pawn on e5.
Ooh.
But instead, knight f6, with the idea that after rook f6, we have king e7,
Ooh.
which is a great tactic, Lawrence.
Wow.
But how does it work out after bishop takes c8, king takes f6, bishop takes b7? Isn't that two pieces for the rook?
Yeah, but this is just a very easy draw, because now rook a3, and you pick up b3, and you know white never wins this position. So that's a good way to liquidate. King e7, beautiful. Bishop takes, king takes f6. Rook b8. Sorry, you play rook b8 here. You don't go rook a3. You ensure that you win that. Rook b8. Bishop takes c6.
Is black and I just given an instant draw or continue playing? Only 29 seconds left on the clock for the turtle.
Oh no, I would play on here with black.
Play on for black. All right.
And we could get a knight in the worst case. This isn't going to happen, but you could get a knight and bishop versus king, Jen. Have you ever had that in a real game?
No, I never had it in a tournament game. Have you?
I've had it in a blitz game, in a tournament game, and I was very proud of myself because I've timed myself as well. I can do it in under 40 seconds over the board, from any position on the board, and I practiced it thereafter. You've got to know your knight and bishop, guys, at home. If you don't know how, yeah.
You can go to Chess.com,
yes.
Endgame Training,
yes.
and quiz yourself. It's one of the easier skills to master because you can play it against a computer until you get it right.
Yeah, you've got to know knight and bishop, because there have been some accidents even at grandmaster level. There was that famous incident, unfortunately, of Anna Ushanina, the former women's world champion, Jen, who just a few years ago had this in a tournament game and couldn't convert it, which was obviously probably one of the most demoralizing things for her. But if you don't practice it and you don't know these things, you've got to know the technique, you know. Endings are important, guys. Endings are really important. I should know because I'm terrible at them. So,
meanwhile, it looks like Smeets for the Mosquitoes is just crushing in his game against David Cartensen. I just don't see any defensive chances here.
Oh my God.
Black is up a pawn, but look at those rooks. The bishop on g3 is just a monster.
Beautiful. Yeah, and white's going to go c5, next move, basically. And then this a5 knight is destabilized. And if you go knight b3 here, I know the first thing Jan's going to be looking at is the queen sacrifice.
Well, we can also take, yeah, I'm thinking we can also just take on d5 with check to start.
Yeah, I mean, you can take on d5 with check. I wonder if rook takes a7 does work, though. Knight takes d2, c takes d5, check. And there's only one move here, bishop c5. And is there a finish? Oh, there's just so many gorgeous little lines here. I mean, you could even just take back on... I mean, it's just winning. I mean, there's no need to sacrifice the queen.
Instead, bishop g5 was played. And now...
Well, maybe you can sacrifice it here. Going for the glory, bishop g5. Okay, so...
But we can also just, like, snap a pawn and then play f4. Like, we're just totally winning, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So nice win for Smeets. Which, again, it looks like the Mosquitoes are fighting very hard not to be relegated. And
yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely liking their chances at this point, where they started off with 3.5 out of 4. And if they win this game as well, we'll have to take a look at some of the other games, but this just seems bodes very well for them. Also having very good tie breaks.
There's a big game here between Jones and Gazzoli, and even though the towers are out, guys, remember what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back the standings for all of you lovely people.
Oh my God.
Yes.
The turtle in that Scorbeni game is down to 3 seconds left on the clock with Marcus Harvey having 2.5 minutes. I think he's just going to lose on time as the turtle.
We'll go there straight
as
away.
Marcus starts to push his pawns. He now actually has 2 pawns. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the problem is now that the turtle has issues on the board and on the clock because the pawns are just too strong.
Yeah, no, now it's actually a huge problem. Yeah, actually, now it's just losing because the pawns are just too strong. Go check, and he's going to go f3, and it's actually relatively easy. f3, knight e3, king f4, knight d5, check, king g3, and you can start resigning.
And look at how much more effective the rooks are in the endgame, because generally the 2 pieces are very strong compared to the rook, but here they're so inept, Lawrence.
Right.
And now, I guess just e3 is fine, but he went for the more classy creeping move, rook to b2.
Yeah, but now rook d2 wins a piece, knight e6 check, king e5. Bishop
there you
e3,
go.
Or knight e6 check, maybe I just go king e3 actually. Just king e3.
King e5 was his idea, I think, and but now rook d1, king d1, king e6.
Oh, good
king
enough.
E6. And that does it. Simplify and win. And Marcus Harvey has won on time and on position. And right now that gives the Lions the narrow lead of 4-3. That means we have one more game going on in this match, and it's between Mate Subenik and Jean-Pierre Leroux, with the Lion being up a pawn. But is it enough? It doesn't seem likely.
Which is is it Morpheus? No, it's not.
It's Raphael. Raphael is the turtle that's still playing, yes. And this is, right now the match is in the Lions' favor, 4-3. The Turtles, especially in light of what's going on in the Mosquitoes game, they can't lose this match. You know, they need to draw it or win it.
Yeah. And
they don't want to get relegated.
This particular position is a dead draw.
Indeed. So the match will probably be 3.5 Turtles, 4.5 Lions after this game.
Yeah, that's
great start for the Lions.
Indeed. And that was a draw.
And meanwhile, by the way, taking a look at the scoreboard, the Migraines and the Snowballs both have 2.5, 1.5 edges against the Towers and the Blockbusters, respectively. Note the Blockbusters have their playoff spot locked up, so that's not under a threat. But the Migraines were trying to bridge that 1.5 point distance so that they will have more tiebreak points than the Snowballs. And right now, that 1.5 points it's very far away, Lawrence.
Very far away. So sad, so sad. It's a sad, sad situation.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
Let's go
Lawrence.
to
karaoke.
Let's go. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave has decided to throw the kitchen sink at Peter Roberson, but looks like successfully. Looks like Robo is in need of a miracle here. Is it just end game?
Yeah, I mean he's just losing a piece, right, Lawrence?
Well, he can go bishop c7, but then queen
bishop
e7
c7,
check.
but then queen e7 check, and then king g8, queen f8
queen
mate.
And if you
king
go
h6, if you go king h6,
queen f8 check, king h5, and call me Mother Teresa if there is no checkmate here.
Interesting. Bishop c7, is there...
Has to be made here. Come on. This is ridiculous. Queen g7, 8. Yeah, just queen g7 is good enough.
Okay.
And then if h6, bishop f8. And we play queen takes h6. And if g5, wow. I mean, whatever. Queen f7 check wins. Anything wins. It's winning. So MVL will find a cleaner way than me, I'm sure.
And bishop c7 has been played. And I think you're right, though, that this queen e7 check on the board, king h6. We're going to see this queen f8 idea, like the most tempting move in the position.
No, he's got to play queen f8.
Queen f8 played, king to h5, forced.
Queen g7.
Now, is he going to play your queen g7? I did like one variation there, Lawrence. We were saying queen g5, h6, bishop f8, g5, queen f7, with the idea that if queen g6, you have g4 check.
Exactly.
Takes on g4, bishop takes g4, you're winning that queen on g6.
Precisely.
I like it.
Queen f7.
Queen f7 was MVL's choice. Similar concept. Now he also is threatening bishop takes f5, Lawrence.
Yeah, probably just as good. I mean, I guess everything wins.
So if you play h6 now, we have bishop takes f5. If you play king to h6, we have bishop f8 check. Now we get the bishop and the queen into the game, and you're dead.
So you've got to go h6. Bishop takes f5. And this is not a good position, Jen.
He played bishop c5 first, which basically, ends the game, because if you move your queen to b7, now we have
right.
Now we also have like g4. I'm trying to like find something
cute.
Even cuter.
Anything wins.
Like g4 check, so that if pawn g4, bishop g4, king g4, queen g6 check.
Yeah.
King h4, bishop e7 is mating.
Yeah.
And there we have it. MVL1, Robo,
Easy.
Peter Robertson has resigned. Okay, so the Migraines did get one more win, as we were discussing, whether they will get enough wins today to overtake the Snowball.
Stop the press. Are we in for, not only are we in for upset of the round, are we in for upset of the tournament? Helgi Gredersen, playing with the black pieces, is a pawn up against Luc van Velle in a rook ending.
Let's take a look.
I think it's going to be a draw, unfortunately. Or is it? Or is it? King e4? Okay. Okay, rook. You know what's a great move here? Rook h6, Jen. Rook h6. Let's just go back there. Rook h6, because you challenge the white rook, who can't take on h6. And if the rook goes rook b8 check, you go king h7. And now your rook is primed to get behind one of the pawns, either rook to g6 or rook to a6. Rook d8, rook g6, rook takes a5, g4. Probably still a draw. Unfortunate. Maybe we're not going to see it. Rook a6. Yeah. We're not going to see an upset. No, rook h4. a4. Beautiful. You can't play rook takes a4 because of rook h4 check. Wonderful. So a4, king f5. Hold on.
That's a nice one, Lawrence.
Hold on.
Wait, where are you now?
I'm Van Velle versus.
Right, you're still on this game. You're not looking at the board position. You're looking.
I
am
at now. I'm on the board position. I'm on the board position. So can Black play something super duper tricky here? That's the big question on everybody's lips. Hold on a second. If I go rook takes e3. Rook takes a4 and rook to g3. You're going to give a check here on a7, right? That is a problem. And if I go king g8, you're going to slide in with king g6. And it's just a draw. Because after king f8, you can take here. And it's an easy draw. So, what about...
Don't forget, we also have Etienne Bacro playing for the Migraines, Lawrence.
I know.
There's a real interesting game he has going on against Thomas Rendell right now. Okay. He's playing the white side of a Dutch, and it's really getting wild as he's about to pick off an exchange.
Or not.
Well, he's down material here.
But he is threatening knight and the rook, so he will win some material back by force.
But it'll be he's got a couple pawns for the a rook and a couple pawns for the two pieces. So an interesting imbalance. If he takes on f8, he might just
play rook g1.
And he's done rook g1.
Yeah.
So that allows rook to f7. But I guess worst case, you could play knight g5 and knight back to e6. So instead, Black just played knight to h5, continuing to allow knight takes f8. And will White continue to refuse the offer, Lawrence?
He does.
Bishop to e5. He wants to keep the attack. The knight on
and
e6.
He wants to go f4 here. That's the big move.
He doesn't believe that the knight on e6 is worth less than a rook.
He's going to go f4 now.
How can you argue with him, Lawrence?
You can't.
That knight, it's not about what they teach you when you first learn to play chess. This is not math. This is chess, right?
Well, I wish. Yeah.
We're lucky. Yeah, right?
I mean, you know.
Considering the way like most grandmasters count pawns, they're like 1, 2, 3. There's not really that much math in chess, Lawrence, like there is in poker. It's more like
Uh,
a geometry. And
yeah,
look at this. Rook takes G7
there we
check. Queen
go.
takes G7. Knight takes G7. King G7. And now all of a sudden, it's white who has a different imbalance. A queen for 2 pieces and a rook, which would normally be good for black. The problem here is that white is coming in quickly with his major pieces, and that king on G7 could be vulnerable, not to mention the pawn on D6. Who do you think is better? King F2 quickly played. He wants to get his queen in via...
Difficult question. Who's better and why?
It's a really fascinating imbalance. Very unusual. Queen D3, going after some more pawns on F5. Rook G1, quickly played by Bacro. He's trying to keep that time advantage because this complex position.
Probably I would take white here.
Yeah, especially in a blitz game, huh? Because... Well, now it's a blitz game. So it started out as a quick game. Now it's a blitz game just because the queen, if those pieces don't get properly anchored, they can kind of like drop off, right?
I think black's problem is that this pawn on F3 for white saves the day. Because after rook takes G8, rook takes G8, there's no entry for this knight.
Great point. I mean, yeah, that pawn on F3 or anywhere else, even G2, how massive would black's game be?
Yeah, then you'd have a square for your knight on E4. But now,
it's all about coordination in these types of positions. Can the pieces, the rook and the pieces coordinate? If they can't coordinate, usually white's doing quite well. And that's what you're seeing here, a lack of coordination from black, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, black is just off balance, I think is a good word for very, very slightly. And here, yeah, Thomas has taken on B4. He's going to go King F7. And... it's still, you know, 3 pieces are 3 pieces, right? I mean, it's not easy. Queen D6, a dagger to the heart, but is it a dagger? Is there a threat with that move? That's what I want to know. You know, a computer, if you put black here, a computer here with black, he would just take Etienne apart. He would reorganize and just win it. It would be fascinating to see a computer play this position. But Thomas Rendell, the last time I checked, and I've known the kid for 25 years, he's not a computer. I would say quite the opposite. Far from it. Knight D7. What's that all about? Now maybe Queen C7, Bishop A6, and then D6. Is that winning? Why can't I go Queen C7 here? Somebody educate me.
Sorry, I was just looking at another game for a second. You want to play where? Queen C7?
Bishop A6 and D6.
Looks good, Lawrence. Looks real good. And Bacro did play that, and I think he's going to win now after D6. There it is. And Thomas...
Sign me up, coach. Put me in.
Has toppled. Etienne Bacro has won that game.
Yep.
Let's take a look at one of his teammates' games. I was looking at Nuki versus Wayne Jones of the Tower.
Wow, big game, big game.
Big game and a big night on C3.
Wow,
Whoa.
what a night.
Yeah.
Oh, what a night. Is that, who's that? Wait.
How much karaoke are you going to sing?
Wait, but who is it?
Lawrence?
It's really bugging. Oh, what a night. Who is it? Is it Lionel Richie?
No, I should know that, shouldn't I? I don't think it's Lionel Richie.
Oh my goodness! Somebody in the chat, please, Jen. This is going to drive me crazy.
I'm sure the chat will help us out with that one.
It's not like the Temptations or something, right? Oh man, I can't even concentrate. I'm googling it.
But that Rook C1 played. Definitely black is better. Will he be able to win this?
Valley, the 4 seasons.
The question is, if we just play Knight D1, you can't really take and Rook D1 because then I'm going to take on D3. So if we want to, we could try to reconfigure our Knight to E3. But
do you know what this position is all about, Jen? This position is all about weak squares. I did some lectures, some of my students who...
Frankie Valli and the 4 Seasons.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, man. Oh, what a night. Late December back in 63.
Actually, Greg's a pretty good singer, Lauren.
Is he?
Yeah, he tried out for American Idol once.
No.
He did, and he made it to like one of the advanced auditions.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, he can tell the whole story on time. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
he's not trained, but he usually is a boss at the karaoke. I hear. I usually am sick on those days, Lauren.
Yeah.
Whenever I get invited to karaoke, I come down with something.
No, to be honest, you've probably seen the videos, Jen, of the likes of fellow Chess.com colleagues, the Ginger GM, Fiona. At the Isle of Man tournament, there's a famous bar with karaoke. And after, let's say, people indulge in the refreshments on the last night, the karaoke is tried out. Even the likes of Grandmaster Ivan Sokolov had a go at the karaoke. And let's just say that they are much better at chess. That is 100%. You've got to check out.
I actually did do karaoke this year, Lawrence. You missed it. It was at the Christmas party at the St. Louis Chess Club.
Did you? Wow.
I sang all the songs.
There you go.
I couldn't believe it. Even Despacito.
Oh my goodness! What I'd do to see you pay what I'd pay to see you do Despacito, I tell you. Anyway, we're off the beaten track here. Let's go back to Gawain Jones versus Yannick Gozoli.
I mean, I think that's improved a little bit for White. Black hasn't really found his way, and White's just shuffling around.
But has he found a Zugzwang King G2? Nearly.
Yeah, White just keeps moving.
And now if Knight D1?
We keep trying. He's not trying Knight D1. He's had a lot of opportunities, but yeah, I like Knight D1, Bishop D1, Rook D1. You want your king on F2 so that you can play King E2 with a king on. So it's kind of ironic. Like when the king goes to F2, it allows Knight D1 check, forcing Bishop takes D1 because of the fork. But that's a better version for White. So I agree with you. Try Knight D1. You got to try something, right?
Isn't
and
it
the last
ironic?
few moves, he's just been shuffling.
Don't you think? It's like rain. That's another classic. That is one of my karaoke
That is
tunes.
Alanis Morissette.
That is Alanis Morissette. The irony being, of course, it's not ironic, is it? The song. That's the whole irony of it. There's nothing ironic about it. It's just like coincidence, and that was well documented. Anyway, I like Knight D1. Is he going to play it? Gozoli? Could do. What's he thinking about? He's Rook C1. Okay.
Rook C1, King to F2, and
What
now
does he want?
again we can play Knight D1, but now I don't like it.
What
as
about
much.
just
Bishop
Rook
D1,
D1?
Rook D1, King E2.
Now, what about here, Jen? Rook D1.
Okay, Rook D1. I got it. I can't play Bishop D1.
And then I win the D3 pawn by force, no?
Well, I guess I could play Bishop E2, right?
Oh. And then Rook takes D3?
Oh.
So we'll put that on the board.
Interesting. Yeah.
So Rook
but
C1.
notice that F5 is hanging at the end of the variation.
No, because my king's on G6.
Oh, because Black just played King H6. Yeah. Okay, great idea. But
So King F2, Rook D1 is my idea. If Bishop takes D1, Knight takes D1, we win a knight. Although my knight is trapped on B2. Haha. That's interesting. My knight is actually trapped on B2 in that line, Jen.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
And that might be good for White. Oh, no, it's just a draw. I just play Knight D1 at the end. Okay, it's just a draw. Interesting.
Meanwhile, George Meyer.
Yes.
We haven't seen his games yet today.
No.
Snowball's playing against the Blockbusters. Two teams already qualified to the playoffs. But there could be some drama here as maybe the Blockbusters will be playing against the Snowballs in the playoffs in the first match, and maybe they'll be playing against the Migraines. Really all depends on what happens today, right?
It really does depend.
One plays 4, right? The Turtles are almost definitely going to be 4, right?
Yeah.
I think they do have better tie breaks than the Blockbusters, though. So I guess, but they're not going to win today.
They're not going to win. No.
They're not going to win today. So the Blockbusters are almost definitely going to be 3. And so the question is, who's playing the Migraines and who's playing the Snowballs between the Blockbusters and the Turtles? The Snowballs and the Migraines will not play each other.
No, they will not play each other.
So there could be some this could be a prelude to their playoff bout or not. But this move, D6 by George Meyer, looks like a bone cruncher.
This is
looks like the end of the game. I mean, You're threatening bishop takes b7. You're threatening things like knight c7.
No, this is just gross. This is Georg Meyer country, you know.
And you're already up a pawn on top of all that, right?
This is just
that a4 pawn is already a bonus in the position. Yeah, this is.
Oh, what? Did he miss queen takes d6?
What do you mean?
a5, knight bc4, and he went knight c7. But queen takes d6 came, and he went back, and queen a6. Did Georg have a little blackout there? Even Georg is known for the odd blackout.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it happens to everybody, Lawrence.
I mean, that one where the white could have played queen takes a3, that for me is astonishing. Because the queen is next to the queen.
The queen is next to the queen, yeah. I feel like that must have been some kind of mouse slip / pre-move. Okay, meanwhile, interesting tactics over Gazzoli versus Gawain Jones. I think knight d1 finally was played, and now we have this endgame where a version of the famous endgame where you don't play b2 because then white should be able to draw pretty easily, but instead you try to get your king into the position and then escape with your rook and use the king and the pawn to march forward, right? So you hide the king in the crevice, perhaps b2. What do you think? Is he going to be able to get his king, infiltrate his king into the position, or will this be a draw?
These are the endings that I find most difficult because there are so many that look so similar with these, you know, rook in front of the pawn. One thing that is really important is not just that the pawn is on b3, Jen, but that it is a b pawn. It's really important. And he's gone b2. He's gone b2. So...
And the game was drawn by agreement. Okay. We were not expecting that, considering that, you know. But I guess he just didn't think there was any winning path here.
I think maybe white is just threatening to play rook takes f5 and go back to b5 anyway.
Yeah, but we would always have rook g1 check and queen.
No, we don't. So like after rook b5, I mean in this position, b2 is clearly a draw for the reasons you stated.
I see what you're saying. You're saying that he felt he had to go b2 to keep the pressure, to keep the rook g1 check in the position. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, some interesting endgame could have been had, but instead we have that draw. And now let's see what other games we have that are tense right now, Lawrence. We've got a couple of big hitters just starting up, like King Loke against John Victor Gunnarsson. And if we check in the scoreboards here, the Mosquitoes are still really smashing the Puffins. So this match is not really in doubt. The Puffins are going to go down, I think. The Mosquitoes only need 2 more points to clinch the match, Lawrence. That's ominous.
Yeah.
Especially when you see Loke Van Wheelie playing this like nice setup with the white pieces. They're going to get those 2 points.
But I imagine Luke, you know, he's got this position here with white. He's the sort of guy to just, you know, he plays f4 castles, puts his slippers on, has a nice hot cup of cocoa. You know, when was the last time you had a hot cup of cocoa, Jen? Be honest with me.
About a week ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't in years, actually, if I'm honest.
Oh, wow, but, that's why you say so nice and trim, right?
Do me a favor. I'm really out of shape at the moment, guys, and I'm sick to admit it. But do you know what I'm going to start doing, Jen?
CrossFit?
Well, there is a CrossFit here. I've just enrolled for chess boxing here in Berlin. It's a big chess boxing centre of Europe.
That was my second guess.
Yep, so I'm going to start chess boxing. I've been to one boxing. I really enjoy boxing. Big boxing fan. Watch a lot of boxing. And also I'm going to start an intermittent diet where you have like a 20-hour gap between meals. So you would eat at like 1 in the afternoon. Your next meal would be at 5. And then the next meal after that would be 1 o'clock in the afternoon again. A bit of ketogenic.
Intermittent fasting, all right.
Yeah, that's the way to lose fat before the summer. This is not medical advice, guys. If any of you keel over as a result of what I've just said, I'm not responsible. I'm sorry. All right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a chess player. What am I? I don't even know what I am. I'm just... yeah.
You're the voice of chess, I thought.
Yeah, I'm certainly not anymore. Anyway,
And
this
looks
game.
like, but your brain, what about your brain, for your brain on boxing, Lawrence? But what about MVL? He won that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. MVL did win.
And that brings the migrants to 5-3 against the London Tower. So another big margin here. And it does seem that the closest matches are going to be the Snowballs versus the Blockbusters and the Turtles versus the Lions.
Yeah. And if anybody's wondering, I'm just going to pull my screen down here a bit. If anybody's wondering, what is this Pro Chess League all about? If you've just tuned in, well, here is what they are fighting for, guys. Here is a list of the prizes. 20,000 big ones up top. And not only that, they're not just going to be playing in their pajamas from home like most of them are now. They are going to be on stage live for everybody to see in San Francisco, California, where they're going to have a real sort of esports style final with all the teams playing next to each other, all the competitors playing in the same room. It's going to look wonderful. It's going to elevate chess to that next level, which is really what it is. For me, it is the ultimate esport. And what the guys at Chess.com are doing, and of course the Pro Chess League guys. Shout out again to Greg Shahadi, the commissioner. I bet he loves that title, the commissioner. Bet he loves that. These guys are the guys with the vision for that kind of thing. We all know how esports are going. And this is what they're going to be fighting for in San Francisco. 20 big ones first prize, 10,000 not bad second, plus a bunch of other prizes such as the best game for 5,000 big ones. Play a good game of chess, $5,000 plus best social media prizes and that kind of stuff. So really,
I love it. I'm so excited about this championship weekend in San Francisco, Lawrence.
Me too.
I see FM Josiah has said in the Twitch chat that he might go to watch. What a great idea! San Francisco, one of the best U.S. cities, best American cities out there. Great for tourism, and you can go there and you can watch the championship weekend live. Lawrence, I'm actually going to be in town.
No.
Yes, yeah. I am. I am going to be there. So I am really excited as well.
That would be great. You can, hopefully they'll have it like the esports arenas where you can chant and shout for your team and that kind of stuff. That would be amazing. Anyway, Luc Remelier pawn up. Looks like he's got a great position. So let's go to another game. We've got a few Grandmaster clashes here, Jen.
Well, George Meyer, I guess that game is totally busto, but it looks like his opponent has gotten down to just
well, 2 rooks and a bishop is busto here for.
Yeah. Okay. He's gotten down to 20 seconds, and we can expect George Meyer to win that for the Snowballs quite soon.
Absolutely. Let's go to one of the Grandmaster battles. We've got New T4 against Leonardo. That is Jean-Pierre Leroux against Scoborna, which is actually quite interesting. Jean-Pierre playing some interesting chess today.
White just won a piece.
Oops.
I think what happened there, it looked like
Queen F4?
Bishop E5 was a mistake, allowing Queen takes A4.
Yeah, it really was a mistake. Queen A4, and that is that.
But the bishop had to go. So I guess the bishop.
Well, you could take on C2. You could do a bunch.
Well, I think White was winning anyway because D6 is hanging as well.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
It's pretty bad. Okay, so good win for the Turtle, making this match even closer, Lawrence.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. The opposite. Making it even better for the Lion.
Closer to finishing, maybe, is the right.
Yeah, sorry. The Lions actually now have a 6.5, 3.5 lead over the Turtles. So the race is on to see who's going to win the match first, the Lions or the Mosquitoes.
We've not really touched on the Snowballs match that much, but there is a game that's caught my attention, and that's between Grandmaster Fabien Libiszewski, a.k.a. Libby, as the French affectionately call him. And he's playing here against the very strong Russian Grandmaster Kirill Alexienko. And we got a position here, Jen. We got a position, which is feels like it should be good for White, but these rooks are annoying. You know, they're connected. They've come around the back, and they do all kinds of nasty things to you.
Yeah, we saw that in another game, right? Where the rook just really prevailed over the two pieces, and even with the extra pawn, right?
But I like king d3. I like that move a lot because now there's no good checks for Alexienko. And if you go rook c1, then I think Libby wouldn't hesitate in going check and then swapping a pair off and then playing a move like knight to g4 because this bishop does an amazing job of protecting b3. So rook c3 check, just king e2. You take h6 and you queen that pawn. So actually, on further reflection, I think this position is really good for white. So I think this is going to be a big win for Libby for the blockbusters.
Nice.
So that is my prediction. I think Libby's going to win this.
What do you think about the game between the Turtle, Borisek, versus Jean-Noel Riff? This is an interesting one. Another material imbalance. Is it?
Got to get it. Which turtle is he?
He is a Donatello.
Oh, they're all turtles.
So it's two pawns and a bishop.
Should be a draw.
And it was drawn as soon as you started to look at it, Lawrence.
Well, I know my draws when I see them because I can never make them. So I know the heart says it's a draw. No, this is actually quite simple. Even I would be quite confident here because, well, it's just a draw. Just nothing you can do here with white. Black is ultra solid. There's no way to break through, so it's just a draw. Just a draw. Sometimes, Jen, you can't win in chess. You've just got to shake hands and admit it's a draw. When are you going to get back on the board, Jen? Let's talk about you for like a few seconds here. When are we going to see you back in competitive chess? Playing some tournaments. When are you going to play the US Championships
Good question. Yeah, maybe I'll win the World Series of Poker, and then I'll stop playing. I'll start playing chess all the time.
Yeah, is that what you think you'd do if you won a big tournament?
More chances for sure. Yeah,
I want to see you back at the board.
I got a lot going on. Yeah.
When did you win the US Championship? When was it? 2000 and I'm going to go...
I won a couple, actually.
Okay. I'm going to go 2005?
That was the last one, yeah.
There we go. And 2002?
Mm-hmm. Wow,
I promise you I didn't know. I swear on my life I didn't know the years.
You should have bet those, yeah.
Wow. Holy cow. Let me run like that at the roulette one time. Thanks very much. Pick two numbers. Woo! Let's go to another game. Jan Smeets against Olafsson. I want to see you back, Jen. I'm just letting you know. I want to see you back because I think you can still give these youngsters a run for their money. Nothing beats a bit of experience. The Jennifer Hughes and...
Oh, she's doing great. Yeah.
She's very strong in fairness. She's very strong. All right. Oh, my goodness. Have we got a game that's kicked off here? Verde Norte against Baki 83. That is Gawain Jones against Etienne Baccarat. Now, you're going to laugh at me here. Gawain has played an opening that I played against Gawain in the Blitz game when we played 2 weeks ago at the Memorial Tournament in London, Invitational. And he said, Lawrence, I just don't know what to do. Oh, no. Well, it transposed to the opening. It's against this opening with B3. He said, how do you play? And he's gone for it. It's the Norfolk Bloodgood Gambit. Would you believe that if I told you? The Norfolk Yeah, true story. And Gawain has got sort of Gawain-esque position, which is normally okay for him. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's just at the very beginning. And
we've got a Sabenik versus Marcus Harvey still underway.
Yeah.
The move Bishop G8 was just played. Bishop G8 check.
Nice.
So
drawing that king. If king takes G8, B7, and the point is you queen would check. And if king E7, his idea is he wants to go king C5, I believe. And then if H2, bishop to D5, and you simultaneously stop that pawn and maybe queen your own pawn. Give me your pawns, baby. The Yasser line.
Yeah, he's going to be doing commentary on the candidates, by the way, on the Chess.com. Yeah. So
Chessbra. Is it chess.com? Chessbra, I thought.
and then later on, he's going to be doing a chess today show with me and Maurice over in St. Louis.
Wow.
So he's
Okay.
going to be doing commentary for the whole candidates,
Wow.
Yasser. So you'll be getting a
Well,
lot of pawns, guys.
a lot of poor. He loves his pawns. King G7. Now,
King
that is
G7. Okay, so that's really great because it avoids a line you were talking about, Lawrence, where after king takes bishop, B7, white queens with check, right?
right.
But how is this helping? So if B7,
Well, we can't go B7 now because H2, and if B8 equals queen, H1 equals queen with check is a problem for white. That's at least a draw, but
right?
you
So
don't
that's
want to allow
why
that.
what we're going to see instead is probably king E5, so that if H2, bishop to D5.
Yeah, king E5, and then maybe he's going to go knight E7, protecting that D5 square.
Mm.
This is his idea. This is his...
And then B7, H2, and we queen at the same time.
Well, actually, queen, we've got knight C6 check. Winning the queen, Jen.
Right, that's true. So we can't, so after, you're saying after king E5, knight E7, B7, H2, we can't queen. But we could play bishop D5, knight D5, then queen.
Then queen.
What's that situation?
And then I queen. And you better have mate. No, you don't. You have queen B7 check.
Yeah, I have queen B7 and queen takes D5, yeah.
Yeah, and this ending is a draw. So, should be a draw, I feel. Should be a draw.
Yeah, but some fascinating variations there.
Yeah, fascinating.
Meanwhile, what else do we have going? We have the game between Loke van Whaley versus Gunnarsson, but that game's not that interesting still.
Okay.
It still seems pretty balanced and close. We've got two heavy hitters, Etienne Becrow and Gawain Jones, and that looks like a really interesting game.
Yeah,
that's... Gawain seemed to have already... He's getting his attack on already with that early queen to H5. He hasn't committed his king to a side yet. Is he going to go king side? Is he going to go queen side? And what is black going to do here? Just keep developing with bishop E7?
Yeah, but you've got to be careful. Bishop E7, well, queen A5. Gawain's going to go king F1 here. Or, there we go.
And there it is. Queen A5, king F1 instantly played. You were saying you have to worry about G4? Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, you do. You do. You do have
G4,
to worry.
Removing the defender of the G7 square.
And also Gawain now gets tempo on this queen, right? Because he plays knight C4 the next move, hitting the queen with tempo, and then this knight can float into E5. These are the positions, I have to say, that you want to avoid against Gawain Jones. Gawain is a very, very, very dangerous player in these positions. This is really where he excels. So I'm a bit surprised we kind of...
C4 played. Now, if you take on C4, there's knight to E3, discovering an attack on the queen on H5. Beautiful move by Etienne Becrow. Or not knight G3.
Not knight G3.
If knight G3, knight takes G3, depending on the queen. But if takes on C4, knight E3 check, winning the queen. Huge move, because if you ignore it, you're getting your...
Knight chopped. Actually, is that it? Wait. Is that end of game?
Because if the queen moves, can't we play bishop takes E4 and C3?
Well, can't we just play bishop takes A3?
We can just take right away, yeah.
Is that it? Is that end of game? After me singing the praises about Gawain being amazing in this position?
I don't know. I mean, C4 looks like a definitely a killer move. G4, perhaps this is the best shot now, trying to confuse the issue. So if we take on A3, you can take on F5. And of course, now the queen on H5 is protected. So probably the best chance found by Gawain staying in the game. That's really what these top-class grandmasters do, right?
Absolutely.
But this smells like it's got to be good for Becrow.
I mean...
But how? Because our queen is also under threat. So we can't just move our knight in any of these variations. But even if we just take on A3, first of all, you can't take on F5 because B2 hangs. So you have to play bishop E3, bishop A3, bishop A3, and Queen A3.
GF5.
Yeah, and I don't know. That doesn't look so great for black, does it?
Well, I don't know. It still looks great for black. Still looks great for black.
Maybe we take on.
Take on
Maybe we
these.
just take on E4 and then play C3 and try to take on B2. Take on B2 with the pawn. So you take on F5 and I take on B2 with the pawn. That's got to be totally winning for me. So you'd probably have to like take on C3 with your bishop.
Not that I know. I feel like there's a way here for black. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call this out. I'm going to call this out and say, with correct play, white is winning. Black is winning. But I don't know.
But you don't see the line.
I don't see the line. I don't see the line. I don't see anything nowadays. Bishop takes A3, bishop takes A3, queen A3, GF5. Oi, oi, oi. You could also do this, Jen. You could go bishop takes A3, bishop takes A3, bishop takes E4, D takes E4, and knight E3 check. And if F takes E3, queen takes A3, and you basically say, I've shattered your pawns here with black, and I'm just going to castle on the next move and claim that I'm much better. That also looks very good. I think there are many ways to get a stable positional advantage. I'm curious, though, as to what...
Well, yeah, this has got to be one of the most interesting games of the round,
really
right?
is, yeah.
Of the day. So checking in, by the way, on our standings, we've got the turtles at 4, the lions at 7. So only 7.5. So 7.5 to 4.5. The lions only need half a point to secure a draw in this match. But really what they want is the win, as that will give them clarity that they're not going to get relegated in this season. So it looks like the lines are going to be pushed up to 3.5 after this match, Lawrence, although...
Yeah.
You know, stranger things have happened. We still have to wait for the games to finish. But the Lions and the Mosquitoes in absolutely fantastic shape here.
Yeah, and I have to say, Jen, I'm really sorry. I apologize. I cheated just this once because I couldn't find it. Black has got the most outrageous way to win this position. How about this?
Show us.
C takes D3. You have to take back on D3 here. You can't play G takes F5 because bishop takes E4 and the game promptly ends. So you have to take back on D3. And now the crazy backwards move, Queen D8. Queen D8. Simple as you like. And if G takes F5, you take on D3 with check. If the king moves anywhere, king to G1. Now you go you go Queen takes E4. Threatening mate down here on G2, and it's all over.
And what do we actually have in the game? We have.
Well, he took on E4 and played C3.
He took on E4 and then he played C3. This was one of the lines that we looked at, and I was saying that now you can't take on F5 because we take on B2. So This also looks good. Although I guess he's not going to take on F5. He's probably going to move the bishop first, like bishop C1. Then after bishop A3, at that point he can take on F5 after that. Still looking good for black, though. Because at the end of the day...
Still excellent for black.
At the end of the day, we're going to castle, and your king is going to be on F1, and it looks very dubious. But what a move, C4, to start
Wow. Great move. Great move.
In conjunction, that was the idea of Queen A5 check. So
yeah, absolutely.
That he saw when he played Queen A5.
Absolutely. The Lions are just 1 point off winning today. What an effort by them. But so sad because they just left it too late. But with a win, they will secure their playoff place. They are just 1 point away from, sorry, not their playoff place, their right to remain in the league when they can regroup, come back next year and try and qualify. Should we have a look?
Bishop C1 has been played, by the way.
Yeah.
And what did you want to look at? Did you want to look at Jan Smeets' game? That's a really good one.
Jan Smeets.
Jan Smeets against Helge Olafsson. This is This is looking really interesting. What's the
Wow.
material count? It looks like white has 2 pieces for a rook. That's got to be good for white. It is black's move. Helgi is black. It's his move. He's
Rook
played rook to
C8.
c8, hitting, perhaps threatening. What's he threatening here?
I'm not sure he's threatening anything,
Rook
but he's. I don't think rook takes c6 is a threat.
Yeah, there's no threat at the moment, but maybe he wants to take on a3 with the queen. But yeah, this does look good for white. The 2 pieces should be better than the rook in the spot. Unlike some of the other situations we were looking at where the player who was getting the rook also had a pawn to go with it, and the rook and the pawn were working well to create counterplay. This, on the other hand, seems like it should be pretty good for Jan Smeets and Mosquito.
Yeah.
And you know, if he wins this game, that'll bring the Mosquitoes up to 7 points, Lawrence.
Yep. Not far away, the Mosquitoes.
The Mosquitoes have a chance of winning this match in the 3rd round.
Yep.
Though
Been seen. Have we ever seen a match whitewashed, Jen? 8-0 after round 2?
I don't know. We'll have to ask the we haven't called one like that, that's
No.
for sure.
That would be amazing, right? Imagine that. 8-0
Yeah,
after 2.
seriously, that embarrassing though.
Yeah.
I hate it when somebody gets embarrassed. I don't like that.
Ah,
I want them all to do well.
I
Everybody's
don't.
the winner.
no, that's you. That's the problem with you guys over that
I
side of the
know.
pond.
You get a trophy for showing up.
Yeah, right. Over here, it's getting more like that. Everybody should be a loser. It should be you're all losers. You're all horrible, and then you have to work your way up to be a winner. You have to really bite your tongue and grit and all of that. All of this, everybody's a winner.
All these buzzwords.
Yeah, it's horrible.
All
By
right,
the way, if you
what's
dislike
going on
me,
in
sorry,
what's
on,
going on
yeah.
in Maxime Vachier-Lagrave? Let's see.
He's playing Basciato. It's a very interesting position. H5. Whoa.
H5 just played by Maxime.
And
In this King's Indian, we saw some really good King's Indian from him last week as well.
He
I think
loves
that
the King's Indian.
there was one that he was winning, and somehow in the end it was a draw. That was between, I think it was Loke Van Wheelie and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave last week or 2 weeks ago. But it was a fascinating struggle. But okay, this one, he just played H5. What's the idea, Lawrence? Is he trying to like push the bishop away so he can play bishop F5? What's his plan on en passant?
Yeah, I'm curious. So, en passant, what did he want to do here? What is MVL up to? What
He wants
does
to play, okay. Before he couldn't play rook e1 check. He couldn't play rook e1 because of queen b8, I guess, right? Forcing bishop f8. So it's his
Right.
idea that after h5, g
He
takes
wants to go
h6,
rook e1 immediately.
we can play rook e1.
Wow. What a hero.
And now you can't, now queen a8 check, we can actually just play king h7.
Exactly.
And we're threatening queen g1 mate. If you play, I mean,
you have to go
you'd have
king
to try
g3.
King g3, queen g1, king f3. Is there a mate there?
Queen
It looks
h1,
like there should be.
king
Yeah,
g3,
right?
rook g1, king h2, bishop f6 check, bishop g5.
Whoa, so crazy tactics, right?
Rook takes g4 check, king takes g4, queen g2 check, king f4, queen e4 mate.
And by the way, it looks like some moves were played. Gh6, rook e1, king g3. So instead of playing queen 8, he started with king g3.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Roman Yatchenko. And then what were you saying, Lawrence? What's going to happen now?
I think it's mate. I just think it's forced mate.
Okay, so rook g1 check.
Well, you can't go rook g1. You have to go queen g1 here.
Queen, you said you were going to start with, okay, I see the position you have, I think.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look. Queen g1, king h4, bishop f6, bishop g5, and
Yes.
that one doesn't look like mate immediately.
Yeah, you were looking at the other one was just mate right away with bishop b4, right?
I mean, you can just play queen takes b5 here. That's probably maybe not. Maybe not. Rook takes c2 and there's no. Okay, queen g1 check.
Or we can take on G7 also. What's wrong with taking on G7,
Yeah. No,
threatening
that's
all sort of
nonsense.
nasty things like.
That's nonsense. Queen G1 check. You have to go King
Okay,
H4.
we have to go King H4. King F3 is just Bishop B4 mating,
Right.
right?
King H4.
So King H4 forced. You said Bishop F6, Bishop G5. And now.
Oh.
What? You see what? You see it?
I see. I can see clearly now. The rain has gone. Bishop F6. Watch this. Bishop G5. Rook E5. Bishop takes F6.
Oh, that's a nice one.
No, it doesn't work.
Because G5 isn't mate. Because
Yeah,
Bishop
it's
takes
not mate.
G5.
But I did see something like that. Wait, am I seeing ghosts?
I see what you were saying though. That is beautiful if that had worked, right?
Yeah, rook E. What I wanted was
Can
here,
you show
and
us
then
though? Show us
rook
that line.
H5 and G5. I wanted mate, but it's not mate because of bishop takes G5. So sad.
Show the whole thing though.
I did. I showed the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. Good. Lovely.
He went
Lovely
bishop
idea.
F6.
You know, sometimes
Yeah.
when you see a line like that and it doesn't work, you feel kind of upset. But it's like you got to look at that stuff, and sometimes you'll find that like a few moves later, the very line that you had to reject will suddenly work all again.
Do you know why? What happens to me? I see those lines in real games and play them, and then that's really sad. You think it's sad doing it here on the analysis board? Try it in an over-the-board game, sacking all your pieces and then realizing it's not mate. That's sad. Bishop F6, F3. Now find the checkmate, guys. Find the checkmate. The schachmat. Feels like there should be one. But actually F3 is a really good defensive idea, right? Covering this G1 square.
And here, this is MVL going into attack as he looks for the mate. Perhaps feeling like maybe he miscalculated something in the line with Queen G1, Bishop F6.
I wonder.
But what else is there? Could he start with Bishop F6 threatening Queen G1 mating?
So Rook E1.
The Rook E1, King G3 is already in the position, right?
King G3.
Yeah. Oh, and King Luke is down to 43 seconds. What happened here?
Lukey.
43 seconds to 21 seconds, but the game looks relatively balanced with equal material. Is this going to end up in some kind of crazy time scramble, though?
No, this one is interesting. I like black. Better rook, weak pawn on A5.
Yeah, I like it. And there it goes. The pawn's gone, Lawrence.
Wow.
Bishop A5, rook A5, 20 seconds.
Now he's free rolling. Now he comes
free
round.
Roll, that's
now
right.
Rook H2, maybe. Yeah, get that pawn off on
Rook
H2.
H2, rook A3, though.
Okay, but I would rather win H3 and have my H pawn. Now I can park my king on F6. King E7, I would probably play. Ooh, king.
They repeating moves a little bit here.
No, I didn't like that. That was not good at all.
Oh, and now the rook is relegated. We're looking
know.
for relegated teams. This rook is relegated, and the Puffins don't want to be relegated. G5 is.
Nah,
it looks like now we're gonna.
There'll be a
the
draw
natural
now.
result will be a draw,
Yeah,
even with 24 seconds left on the clock. Another one that's going down to the wire. Jan Smeets, 3 seconds against Helgi Olafsson. Helgi Olafsson with the rook. And before I said the rook didn't have any pawns to go with it. But now there's a pawn sitting on H2.
Check.
King
G1, probably.
King G1, I like it. Then you got to move your knight to stop H1. Knight G3.
Maybe he'll just park the knight on H1.
Rook G4.
He will.
Knight H1. Okay, you're right. You got it.
Now Rook G2. Beautiful.
Rook G2. I love it.
No.
Bishop G2.
But and now stalemate. This is wonderful.
King F2.
Wow.
King F1. Both
what a
stalemate.
sequence.
What a game. What a game.
Look at this.
And that'll leave the Mosquitoes at 6.5 points to 3.5 points. As we check back on King Luke, who I think is going to also draw his game. So that'll be 7 points for the Mosquitoes, Lawrence.
Very close for the Mosquitoes. Very, very close. Just need...
and one more Mosquito in action, by the way. Miguel Admiral, who we saw win a nice game earlier in this round, is up a pawn against David Kjartansson for the Puffins.
Yeah, let's have a look at that.
not the most interesting game, but this could be the clincher. 10 seconds left for each player. Is he going to win this
What is
game?
his name?
Just Mig.
Yeah.
Okay, Jen, it looks like we're back live. Sorry about that, everybody watching, but I last-second replacement here, Grandmaster Robert Hess here with Jen Shahade. So, Jen, I know you've been keeping up on all the action while we were down, but where should you take us?
Well, we have a couple games of Titans going on this round where we see that Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is playing against Gawain Jones, the Migraines versus the Towers. And in an interesting twist, he actually played A4 on move 2, Robert. So the game went D4, D6, A4 by Maxime.
What do you think? He's taking one out of Magnus Carlsen's book with offbeat openings against strong grandmasters, because A4 is not something that I would ever recommend, Jen, and I know you would not recommend that to your students either.
Definitely not. And we also already have a victory in the books. The Snowballs have clinched the win against the Blockbusters. They already have 8.5 points, Robert, and that means that Migraine's chances of beating them on the tie breaks are looking really slim. Right now, they're 6.5 against 5.5 for the Towers, and I don't think they're going to be able to match the Snowballs score at this point. So likely we're going to see small Snowballs take the Central Division.
And that's really impressive because the Snowballs have Georg Meyer, who is a household name on Chess.com, but he is not at the level of, say, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. But they're more even lineup between Georg Meyer, you have Kirill Alexienko, and of course you have Evgeny Agres. Those grandmasters seem to be really playing very well for Stockholm, and that actually will help them very much going forward into the playoffs.
And what about this position, though, MVL's position here against Gawain Jones? Just to get into the chess a little bit, as we always like to see these elite GMs face off, especially elite MVL. I love this bishop a2, queen d5 battery and the d5 square. Is white better here, Robert, and how much? I'm sorry, I almost called you Lawrence.
It's okay. I will only be offended for a little bit if you call me Lawrence. But I do think white has to be better because, for starters, why can't white just capture that pawn on b7? Well, he went c3 first, but that pawn on b7 was certainly hanging, at least for this current move. And, well, I guess he's leaving it there to take later, but I love the placement of the white queen. I think the most important thing, Jen, is this bishop on g6. It's going to sit there for a long, long time and has no real plan for the future. So white, on the other hand, will go bishop f4, pile up pressure on the d6 pawn, whereas that bishop on g6 is absolutely terrible.
And we can also play something like h4, f4, ideas that will continue to hammer on, as you pointed out, that weak g6 bishop. But Maxime had another weakness in mind. He started with bishop f4, and Gawain felt compelled to play bishop e5. So now we have this position on the board after bishop. If white were to play bishop e5, d takes e5, that might relieve some of the pressure. So what do you think white's going to do here?
Yeah, you don't really want to capture that, as I'm showing on the analysis board, just because the black rook will come to d8, then black can play f6 and get that bishop back in the game. So I think you actually want to allow the double pawns to occur on the f-file, because that gives you an extra tempo to take over the d-file and continue hammering away at this weakness on d6, which will never become at all become an asset, because you can never push d5 with all the white pieces aiming at the square. So I would let black capture on f4 before I would ever take on e5, or move that bishop away and threaten your idea with f4 and then f5 with a free tempo. So bishop back to e3, for example. Instead he castles queenside. So what do I know?
Castles queenside, saying bishop takes f4, g takes f4 is actually okay, because that bishop on g6 is going to be under threat. I like that idea. Just let him take it. Yeah. And of course, Gawain said, no, thank you.
But now your idea, h4, h5 looks very good. One of the many options to sort of just gain space on the king's side and leave this bishop stuck on g6. And I think this is what's going to tell the tale. Though, now all of a sudden, white has to be very careful, because black can play his move b5, opening up the queen side, in particular the rook on a8.
And wait a second, how did Luke Van Weely win so quickly? I'm seeing that game was already over.
Let me try to find that game really quickly. I know he's King Loke.
Yeah, King Loke already won his game. I was a little shocked by that. There must have been some blunder that took place.
Oof. Well, I pulled up that game really quickly over here, and the final position looks absolutely brutal. The black queen somehow found its way to h2, so I'll take us back a bit and it looked like it was a relatively normal opening in this one against Skrapnel. That is a Helgi Olafsson from Iceland, I believe. And, well, everything looked okay for white for a while. Then all of a sudden, black's pieces, this position after move 18 with knight to g5, white's looking absolutely fine. But perhaps underestimated this idea with knight g4. And the problem is this knight on g5 is actually difficult to defend. With the queen, well, I guess blundering a piece didn't help that cause either, because queen takes b6, doesn't blunder a piece and wins the bishop on b7, but after queen f4, now this very thematic h2 and f2 pawns are under direct threat, and the king is very weak as well.
And if queen d2, you're just taking off. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, queen d2 might have been a better idea, just to keep the knight defended. I guess the e5 pawn at some point is a concern, but with this knight on g5 hitting the h7 square, I think that white is doing okay. So probably just an oversight with this move queen f4 coming into the game here, and the double attack is too strong, where the white king just got mated.
Now let's take a look at the game between Marcus Harvey of the Lions and Jernej Skuhala of the Turtles. That's a Marcus Harvey under the handle Marcus Harvey if you're looking for the game, because that's really a crucial battle in pretty much the only close match of the day, Lawrence, between the Turtles and the Lions, which is tied 7.5, 7.5. This is all it.
Yeah, you just call me Lawrence, so our friendship is all it as well. It's over. But it looks like it was a draw. So Skuhala and Harvey ended in a draw just as we pulled the game up. And black looked to be slightly better with the better pawns. In particular, there's this white weakness on e3. But at the same time, the queen on d4 does a marvelous job of defending everything. And with the black king a bit exposed, it doesn't look like there's any real way to make progress. So a draw was agreed.
Now, it's funny because the Lions were doing really well in this match, and I thought it was in the bag. So certainly the Turtles had a little bit of a comeback there. Lions were up by at least a point early, at least a few points earlier in the match. But what does this mean for the standings? This is going to bring the Lions to 3 points, and with the Puffins. With the Puffins actually already have lost to the Mosquitoes. So the Mosquitoes have just clinched the match against the Puffins. That means that the Lions are going to go ahead of the Puffins, and the Mosquitoes are going to avoid relegation, Robert.
Yeah, that's huge for them because they've been an interesting team. They have Loke van Welle, they have Jan Smeets, or Smeets, I believe that might be the correct pronunciation. But Smeets is not an active player. Loke van Welle has been a long-time success story for the Netherlands. And maybe next year they'll get Anish Giri to play for them because, well, with a 27, 60-plus player on their squad, they can really do some damage in the Pro Chess League.
So the poor Puffins have been relegated, but always like such a thrilling team to be in the mix. So we'll certainly wish them luck in the qualifier to get back into the league next year.
And they're a fan favorite, so if there's ever a fan vote, the Puffins have to be at the top of the list. And yeah, it's sad to see them be kind of knocked down a notch, but at the same time, they didn't exactly field what I would consider one of the best teams in the league. And so with such strong competition, it's no knock on them that the rest of the league, well, kind of beat up on them throughout the year.
Now, the Migraines against the Towers, that means that's the only match where the final result is in doubt. So it's really incredible and shows how tight the Pro Chess League is, Robert, that the Towers in the basement of the Central Division are having a good go of it against the Migraines. And the Migraines did not field the B team today. They wanted to try to overtake the Snowballs for the Central Division Championship, the first spot in the prelims, but they're not going to do it. So let's take a look and see what games we still have going on there.
I just pulled up Etienne Bacrot's game because I believe he's on the Migraines and he's white against Roman Yanchenko, and this game is nuts. There's this.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it looks like all of a sudden with the threat of queen takes f7 looming, the queen g8 is a quick mating attack. So I don't really see how black aims to get out of this. No matter how you capture back on d4, queen takes f7 is a perfectly logical and good move. And not to mention, this bishop on g2 is staring down this rook on a8. So if that rook on b7 can move with tempo, well, then all of a sudden you are losing a rook as well. So I don't see how Yanchenko can get out of this. I mean, just queen takes f7 next, as I was saying. Jen, this looks like it's all but over.
I guess it's still technically possible for the Migraines to overtake the Snowballs. They'd have to go 3.5 out of 4 or 4 out of 4. But they're going to win this game.
Yeah, this one's going down. So I'll pull back up the MVL game since that
Yeah,
one.
the MPL game between MPL and Gawain Jones. It looks like it's transposed into an end game, but it still looks like white should be somewhat better. But how much?
Yeah, this is a big question. This bishop is now finally getting out, and with bishop takes f5, the threat now is rook b8 over to the b file, and the b1 square in particular is quite loose. And from MVL's point of view, I love this move, rook e1, because not only is he attacking a pawn on e5, but he's saying, if your rook does come to the b file, now my king on d2 will defend my rook on e1, so I don't have to worry about losing a rook. And so at rook f6, nicely met by rook d5.
Yeah, and this is a nice little finesse. Bishop d3 check after bishop e6.
That is.
He's going to have a nice choice of c5 and e5 pawns.
That is a great move, and not to mention, let's say this king moves to h8. The problem is, even if you took, let's say you take the c pawn and black takes on f3, this move bishop e4 will hit both rooks in that long diagonal. So as you said, a choice of pawns, a healthy choice. It's not even like there's any drawbacks by capturing either one. And so at this point in time, bishop f5, now rook takes e5, and look at that move. So after bishop d3, rook d3, this rook, okay, I guess he can take on h5 first, but what I was going to say is the rook on d3 protects the pawn on f3, so you're not even losing any material back from white's perspective. Up 2 pawns should be an easy conversion.
And we do have a lot of love being sent to Lawrence Trent, who I'm sure will be back with us soon enough. You know, just computer problems, Robert.
Yeah, well, you know, as they sing, if you're having computer problems, I feel bad for you, son. Well, I got 99 problems, but my connection ain't one. So in this game, as we get back to the chess.
More karaoke. I thought with Lawrence, the karaoke would be gone.
Well, you know, you can take Lawrence off the broadcast, but you can't take the Lawrence Trent out of me. So, you know, I'm ready to continue his legacy here in the Pro Chess League commentary.
Well, we gotta love it. So I love this technique by Maxime Vachier-Lagrave in this game, leaving him with 2 extra pawns. It happens so fast, Robert. It's like you blink, and a few moves ago you were saying how maybe Gawain was back in the game, and now it's dead loss.
It's crazy how these top players do that between Magnus Carlsen, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and all the rest of them. It's like, oh, a normal-looking position. I know I would struggle to calculate there, and then they're like, no, just kidding. In 3 moves, I'm going to win the game. So I've always been impressed with the kind of just pure technical skills of these top players. And yeah, the 3rd pawn's coming down after the c4 pawn falls, and yeah, this is all over now. And
so I mentioned something about how my preliminary calculations told me that maybe my greens were going to have to go 3.5 or 4-0 to not only win the match but potentially overtake the snowball. So let's take a look at the other games of this match: Gazzoli versus Robertson. Okay. Since it's so crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. So is this Nuki, I believe? Because Bacro won his game, by the way. So this leaves Yannick Gazzoli with the black piece against Peter Roberson. And wow, this game has many more pieces than the MVL ending here. And black just made the break pawn to d5. So it's one of those positions where if you don't go d5, you're down a pawn and just suffering. So you need to make some sort of active try in the center. And with this move, pawn d5 was not queen e2. Not sure I absolutely am thrilled by that decision. I guess the problem was after pawn takes d5, perhaps just queen takes d5, and all of a sudden this queen is getting very active, hitting a rook on a2. There's some pressure on a knight on d2 as well. And with rook a8 ideas aiming for this a5 pawn, black has compensation for sure. But in the game continuation, Jen, queen e2, d takes e4, I'm looking at a problem down the e-file.
Meanwhile, we have one other game, Robert. It's from the youngster Marc-Andrea Maruzzi playing for the Migraines, but this looks like a pretty nice position for black. He's playing against Thomas Rendell.
Okay, so I believe Rendell is Trendle, so that makes life easy finding that game.
It does make life easy. Ooh, but this move, like, he just played rook e7 check, king d6, and note that rook d1 is now a threat.
Ooh,
if you play bishop c4. So if you play bishop c4 here, rook d1 is mate.
Wow, that's a great spot, Jen, because I was about to say, what's wrong with bishop c4 getting rid of that pesky knight? But rook d1 is checkmate on the board because the rook on a2 is misplaced, taking away that access from the king to escape. So that escape route is important. Rook a to a7. So who? Ooh.
But just rook b2 check.
Yeah, take on b3.
Now, just take on B3. There's no, I don't think, is there a perpetual anywhere?
Absolutely not. The king is escaping, and that is a humongous upset because Maurizi is what 300 points or 250 points lower rated in this game with the black pieces, and there's absolutely no perpetuals with the king just running over to D6 very quickly, or even D5.
Wow. So the thing I pointed out earlier could actually happen, although the snowballs are still playing as well, and they just now have racked up 9.5 points. So I guess it's no longer possible, but still, how cool that the migraines are really making it as tough as possible for the snowballs to be the champion of this, to be the number one seed in the playoffs.
Right.
Huge.
No, it's absolutely great to see a fight down to the finish, and that's what happens when teams can get relegated and teams are fighting for those, seeding in the playoffs. Because as everyone who follows the Pro Chess League should know, rook d2 check, end that game right here. That way, if rook d2 check, king takes b3, rook b2 mate. That's a nice mate.
Oh, beautiful mate. The rook and a knight anchored on that c4 square, in conjunction with rook, and he did it. Rook to d2. What a season for. I mean, what a way to end this preliminary season for the youngster. Because he's, I don't know if you saw many of his games, but he's had a lot of good games. And there it is. He won by checkmate. I mean, he's been having great positions against so many super grandmasters and grandmasters, but a lot of times he messes it up in the end because of time pressure.
Right.
But look, in this case, twice as much time as Thomas Rendo on the clock, and he got it done.
Oh, and that's just a dominant performance, as you mentioned, on the clock, on the board, and that'll be huge going into the playoffs because the Marseille Migraines will have, I believe, a top 2 seeding, which means they'll have a draw. It's kind of a draw field, home field advantage. A draw leads them to a victory in the first round of the playoffs, at least. So that will be huge with him gaining this confidence. And unlike Norway's Mr. Ellen, unfortunately, Ellen, I believe his name is Abdurlauf, he had some good positions and struggled mightily and threw them away. Marc-Andrea Maurizi kind of pulled this one through. And so Leon Beast, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave wins by checkmate. And is that a 4? No, Nuki is still playing because it's close to a 4-0 finish. So
they did their best to try to come out ahead of the snowballs, but I don't think it's going to happen because George Meyer's game is still underway as well. But yeah, that would be incredible to end 4-0. But Gazzoli's position, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I just pulled up Georg Meyer so I can flip through that, but let's stay on Gazzoli. Well, I don't like the fact that White has this past A pawn, and when I say I don't like it for Gazzoli at all. I mean, look at this one. That's 1 square away from promotion. Yes, Black gained the pawn back and has some threats with the move E3 in the future just to sort of break open and soften the White king side, but that's, I feel, too little too late, especially with that bishop is a great defender on the F1 square. The rook on A2, once this knight moves, will come into the defense as well. So Jen, I think Black is giving it his all, but unfortunately for him, unless he finds some quick knight D5 takes C3, and that's one of the biggest forks you'll see, it looks all over.
And so we have all the results of the matches in this Central Division round have been finalized. The Turtles and the Lions have drawn their match. The Puffins went down to the Mosquitoes. The Migraines and the Snowballs are going to take those number 1 and number 2 spots.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. This division has been the Stockholm Snowballs and the Marseille Migraines from start to finish. But, there's some other good teams that can challenge them in the playoffs. Caen was a surprise team for me, Jen. I don't know about you. You've been covering this division all season long. I've just been following the results. And for Caen, it seems like their lineup isn't that elite. I mean, they don't have the same kind of firepower that a team like Marseille does, but somehow they've solidified a playoff spot and will be a contender going forward. And Jen, what are your thoughts about Caen?
Yeah, well, they did really well in the Super Saturday, so they always had really good tie breaks. Maybe I was thinking the opposite. They didn't do well in the Super Saturday, so we were kind of surprised to see them clinch that tiebreak spot last week, right?
Right.
They were always kind of crept up in the end. In fact, I think earlier in the season, the Puffins, we were looking at more towards making the playoffs than the Blockbusters. So it really kind of flipped over in the last few weeks.
Yeah, and well, I guess you could say this is going to be very lame, but a blockbuster finish for Khan in the Pro Chess League. I'm full of terrible jokes right now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I like the rap that you were doing earlier, actually. And we need to get some more rap references.
You don't tempt me, because it will happen. You know, this is what happens when I'm flustered and coming in last second to join an earlier broadcast than I'm supposed to have. So I'll try to, you know, keep my cool here and not do too many crazy references. Also, what just happened to this A pawn?
No, but it's great, really, really, Robert. Thank you for being able to do this at the last minute. It's really fantastic to see everybody come together to cover this league. And I understand that you're going to be going to San Francisco for the championship weekend to cover the league. And you know, there's been some people in the chat saying they're going to go to San Francisco and catch it live. And what are your feelings on that?
Just incredibly excited for that. It's going to be great to have a live event. I'll be covering with Danny Wrench, who everyone knows and loves to hate on in the chat. And so it'll just be nice to see. It's kind of a unique format, because chess is a great game. I mean, we all love it, of course, but it's nice to see it gain popularity. And I think this is a great way of doing so at a live venue in San Francisco. Plenty of fans in attendance, streamed online on Twitch. I mean, what more could you ask for? And you know, while I say all this, I'm still really confused how White lost that very beautiful passed A pawn, which I was just saying was such a nice, you know, you're going to use that to victory, and Yannick Gazzoli just somehow snatched it. So I'm going to go back a few moves, because I don't really know how that pawn ended up in. Oh, so it went knight c4 and giving away the pawn on a7. So that was not a good move. A much better move was something like queen to b7, trying to trade queens and protecting this pawn on a7. So, Jen, mistakes do happen, but you know, if you're International Master Roberson, I think you want to take that one back.
Yeah, we had one just queen hang earlier today. Just a queen left on a square. It seemed like it was a mouse slip, but it was like a mutual mouse slip. Mutual mouse slips, Robert, are kind of hard to make, right?
Yeah, I don't really know how that happens. You know, just blundering a queen. And I think, well, the teammate of Grandmaster Gazzoli, Etienne Bacro, has made so many weird blunders. I remember in the first week of the season, he had he hung two different rooks. And then I saw earlier today when he was playing Gawain Jones, and he had a pass pawn on b2 as I was following the games as you and Lawrence are doing commentary. All of a sudden, you know, he's up a pass pawn on b2, and then he's dead lost just a couple moves later and kind of went for some desperado. So these mistakes happen in the quicker time controls, but the double mouse slip is a rarity for sure.
Yeah, it requires a new emoji, Robert. But we do have some great comments coming into the Twitch chat. We have some people who I think maybe are East Coasters just joining in the action and coming home from work. People are asking, Jungle Rundle asks, does anybody know if the Gnomes won? No, unfortunately for fans of the world champion, the Gnomes only drew against the Estonia Horses, and that gives the Estonia Horses the coveted final playoff spot and leaves Magnus out of the party, Lauren and Robert. Sorry.
that was like instead of a Lawrence, that was like a Rorance. So, you know, you're kind of mixing our names up now. But yeah, I mean, it's sad to see Magnus miss out, but unfortunately for him, you know, he was carrying the team right on his back all season, and he's going 4-0 week after week. And the 1 week this week, when he goes 3.5 out of 4, his team needs that extra half point. In fact, the Gnomes tied Estonia 8-8 when they were winning in all of their games in the last round. And Mr. Elam, who I mentioned before as their board 4, was just cruising against a much higher rated board 4 in Estonia. And then Predajevich drew a game against Elvist where he was significantly better, if not winning. And then the last board was Ladva versus Grandelius, and Grandelius got mated on the board after having a phenomenal advantage early on. So, you know, if you can't convert, well, then you got to kind of, you know, you have to make up for it somehow. They couldn't find a way to do it, and all of a sudden Estonia is the one galloping into the playoffs. And that's another lame pun, so I am going to stop talking.
I love it. I like Rorance also. I think the Twitch chat loves Rorance. So we got to get you two together at some point.
Oh, well, you know, Lawrence and I did our commentary together at Millionaire Chess. I think, you know, we make a good duo. But Jen, I don't want to go with Lawrence. I'm here with you right here, right now. And I'm going over to the Georg Meyer game because we probably have a lot of Georg fans watching. And what is going on here? I'm just, every time I look at a position, I just don't know what's happening. And in this one, Georg Meyer is temporarily up in exchange against Fabian Libuszewski. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but the rook on e1 is trapped.
Fablibi.
Fablibi.
That's his Chess.com handle. Kind of rolls off the tongue, though. Fablibi.
I like it. And the start Fob, I mean, you must be a big fan of that name, considering that your little guy has that start to his name, Fabian, right? With an A.
That's right. Fabian with an A, absolutely. It's a perfect name for us.
Well, that means you must be rooting for Fablibi, and I feel like most fans are rooting for Georg Meyer. So, Jen, what do you think? Is Fabian going to do it for Fabian with an A, or is Georg Meyer going to do it for the fans who are rooting for the Stockholm Snowballs?
Well, I have to like White's position. I mean, there's just nothing about Black's position that really excites me. I like that White has, potential access to the D6 square, the D5 square, some of these potential weaknesses on E4 and G5. There's just a lot of good things to say about White's position. Not as many to say. I mean, I guess our knight on H3 is not that good, and your bishop on H3 is exerting pressure on it. But other than that, it's hard to think of good things to say about Black's position, except, hey, he's got 3 more minutes on the clock. That's all I got.
Wait, there's a knight. Where's the? Maybe I'm not up to speed on this game here, but I see a knight on G1 and a pawn on H3.
Oh, sorry. I had a couple moves earlier.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Now I like Black a lot better.
Yeah. Okay. I'll scroll back a few moves. 'Cause I was thinking the same thing before. I was like, well, all of a sudden, it looks like things are going pretty well, but then the knight went to D6, and then the knight went to C2, and it kind of got tricky here. But this knight on G1, I don't think is particularly happy. The rook on D6 landed exactly where you said it would. But now I just have all these questions of when is Black going to take on E1? Right now, I think, is probably an opportune moment. You could take on F2 first, but it's one of the... Sorry, what were you going to say, Jen?
Oh, no. Knight E1, bishop F6. The material is going to be equal at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, it looks like it, right? Because if you take on G2, king takes G2, you can always take on F2, but then the king captures back on F2. And it's one of those positions where it's not entirely clear if the knight or the bishop is better. At first glance, I would say the bishop is better because it can gain more activity via F5 square, and importantly, those pawns on the queen side, A2, B3, C4, are all on light squares. But that said, knights in the endgame can be very tricky because they can jump from color to color, and the bishop, of course, can only stay on the light squares. So, I don't know, and I like the fact you made a great point about this rook. The rook on D6 is such a phenomenally placed piece, and it's just going to keep the only open file, which as the pieces get traded off, that is of utmost importance.
So knight E1 has been played, and I don't think we have a move yet from
King
Fabian. Yeah, king takes E1 has been played. Meanwhile, we also have another game that's only got 30 seconds left for each player between Nuki, Gazzoli, and Robertson.
Okay, let's jump there. I pulled the game up. Whoa. So all of a sudden, both sides are almost mated. But, well, I guess white can't really get mated unless that knight gets to F3. So now is a critical decision. I would not want to trade rooks for white because if you trade rooks, I don't really see how white will be able to win this game, especially with the bishop not matching the queening square. That's a bishop on F7, a pawn square, queen square is H8, which means that all black would have to do is trade off. And look at this. As soon as I say that, white just wins all the pawns. The G4
because he just played rook G6, king F5, bishop E6 check, winning the G4 pawn.
And down goes H6. So now 3 extra pawns in an ending where white should be able to easily convert this, no risk whatsoever. So Gazzoli went from down a pawn with Robertson having a passed A pawn to winning that pawn and being up a pawn to now being down 3 pawns. So this has been a very topsy-turvy battle, and all of a sudden Robertson wins by resignation. So, wow. Wow. So
not even close then for the Migraines to overtake the Stockholms, as of course the Migraines had already clinched the match, but the Towers, gaining some honor with this victory, no doubt. Still want to win. You're not in it. You're relegated, but you still gotta try till the very end.
Yeah, it's nice to gain a couple fans towards the end of the season as well, and hopefully for them they can have a stronger showing next year. They have David Howell on their roster, I believe, who did not play a single game. So that's not exactly promising, unless he's on the Lions. But whatever team Gawain Jones is on, I know David Howell's on that one. I mix them up all the time.
Yeah, Gawain is on the tower.
So David Howell is also on this team. And when you have a 2,700 who sat on the roster the entire season and not played a single match, that's not exactly going to bode well for your chances. And next year, hopefully, David Howell, if you're listening to this, that you play in the Pro Chess League and help your London Towers come up and qualify and join the league once more.
Yeah, that qualifier is going to be pretty fierce. So with Let's see. King G7. So what do we have left going? We've got Meyer versus Fablibi still going. The game that you were looking at.
And that's the game I have open. Is there any game left besides that one? Blitzstream and Eagle Valley. Who are these players? That is Marcus Orndal and Kevin Bordy. Kevin Bordy, right? Popular streamer on Twitch. And Kevin Bordy with the white pieces looks like he's in a bit of trouble here against Orndal from Sweden, playing for the Stockholm Snowballs. Jen, I love having my knight on d3 and rook on d2 and about to win a pawn on f2. I can't really complain about that.
Yeah, indeed. It looks like pretty nice for black, but does white have any kind of chances to try to defend here? Like maybe by just attacking f5?
Maybe rook f6, or that seems like a reasonable idea, unless somehow.
Yeah.
Well, is black going to play f4? I guess that's my curiosity. If rook f6, will black just play f4, hoping that white captures on f4, in which case rook takes f2, and then the e-pawn will run. And just to put that on the board, this e-pawn is very, very quick to its queening square.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool move, f4, in response to rook f6. I like that. And perhaps that's what's got Kevin thinking for the blockbusters, trying to avoid that fate. Well, maybe he should play f4 himself, so that if takes on f3, you can play bishop takes f5. I don't know. That's like kind of dicey, letting you get your pawn all the way to f3. But at the same time, when I play bishop f5, your knight's in take is what your knight is pinned.
Right, but unfortunately, there's mate in one there with rook d1 checkmate, because the knight, even though pinned, still covers the f2 square. So I actually was thinking, why not play f4 as well? But unfortunately, the knight still is active despite being pinned.
So rook takes f. So what actually happened is that after knight d3, he did play rook f6, the first move we looked at, and then rook takes f2 check, king g1, and now your move f4. So he kind of just switched the move order there.
But why did he take on f4 back is my big question here. I don't understand if e takes f4, why you ever would go rook takes f4 here. Instead, play a move like...
Yeah, that is bizarre. E takes f4, rook takes f4? Wow. And it ended up being a draw a few moves later. Larbert.
Yes, I see what just happened there. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense because that pawn's not going anywhere. Play a move like king to d2, just to avoid any pins on your knight. More importantly, this pawn is going 1, 2, 3 squares away from promotion, and you could take that pawn f4 at any moment. That's a really bad practical decision by Marcus Orndal, and he lets Kevin Bordy escape with a half point that he did not deserve. And in the end, well, it's simple for white just to give up this bishop. So let's, I guess, head over to Georg Meyer as the last but not least game of the round, and the entire division for the regular season.
Wow, and then we still have the George Meyer Fablibi game going on. It's still underway with 1.5 minutes. It's really going down to the wire here.
Oh, did he blunder somehow? Because I was going to say, why not just rook h4 and win the pawn h3, but the bishop on f5 is hanging. So it means you need to keep the rook either attacking the white knight, so move like rook to e4.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah,
bishop
rook e4.
e6. Okay.
Bishop e6 is another possibility, but no, then after knight takes f4, you have to play takes f4, king f4, bishop d5, takes d5.
And we're in this endgame. So this did all just occur with the pawn takes d5, king f6. And now this is going to require a lot of kind of one move at a time calculation. So two things here. One is that this pawn on d5, while it is the most passed pawn on the board, at the same time it's undefended by a pawn. So if black can use his queenside pawn as a distraction and win his d5 pawn, maybe he's got some winning chances. So you have two separate ideas. And you want h4 first. I was going to say trying to use this h pawn and maybe bring his king over to the h file to take h6, and then if he can win that pawn, maybe he queens first. And if black goes b5, we just see a pawn race. I mean, I'm not in calculating shape right now to figure out who is going to have the upper hand in this endgame. And for all I know, it just might fizzle out into a draw.
Yeah, it's all about those tempos, right? It looks like there's a good chance of it being a draw with those h pawns also, because if any side ever Like, let's see, what can white do here? Like king e4.
Instead, went h5. So h4, h5, and black can always play c4 and use this pawn as a decoy. So if c4,
Yeah.
pawn takes, king e4, c3, king d3, king e5, something like this is pretty forced. The black king is better situated in the center, but the white king is not that far from attacking the a pawn, which is left. So you can't really rush a move like, okay, and as I say that, this all happened. I wouldn't have wanted to rush the move, and now after king e5, king c3, king d5, as I was just showing, yeah, this is, okay, let's do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to the h pawn. 1, 2, 3 to get to the a pawn for white. Oh, and then if the king moves, who's queening first there? So it's like one of those, it reminds me of searching for Bobby Fischer, right? This end game,
Yeah.
opposite side rook pawns, and who queens first? Let's just make a draw. We both will split the championship. No, Georg Meyer and Fabian Lubaszewski will try to figure out if there is even a win here, but my gut tells me it's just a draw.
Yeah, because you can always just try to box the white king instead of just going for the race as well.
So what is king d6? How does that make any sense? Because now can't white just go king b5 and what? So, So, I mean, I like white now because at least you have a farther king, and that's always good, especially if the king will be in eventual opposition. Yeah, right. So king c7, king c5. This is a bad decision by.
Yeah, that is weird. What was he? Maybe he was thinking. I think he was. I'm trying to think what the logic was that we would maybe he thought that he could just sit his king on c7 when you play king takes a7.
Right. But this is such a, I mean, what is that? I guess he thought that if king a6, if that king went to a6 instead of c5, the king would go to b8 and maybe hold. But if we look just...
Exactly. I think that's what he might have thought.
But very simply, right, king d7, king d5, we have opposition here. And if this black a pawn ever moves, the white king can just come back over and capture it. And if black king stays to the queen side, the white king just goes over to the h-file and picks up the h-pawn. Now, all that being said, is sometimes even if you capture the h-pawn, if the black king can have opposition on the f6 square, you may still be able to hold a draw. But I mean, this is with no time on the clock and with a significantly worse endgame. I would not be surprised if Fab Libby, despite his great first name, is going down in flames.
Yes, despite his great first name, I love that.
I was just thinking that maybe Meyer is very happy that Lawrence got his connection went out. Maybe it's Georg Meyer who set it up because he's tired of Lawrence talking about it, how, oh, look at Georg Meyer in an ending. How surprising. He's like, get out of here. I'm going to win my end game without you having to talk about it. And now this is winning.
All right, that's how I won the bet against Lawrence because I believed in George Meyer. I said he's going to get it done against MBL in that endgame where he had 2 extra pawns and the bishops of opposite color.
Yeah, now he's getting it done because unfortunately for the black king, you have to stick over to this h-pawn. And once this king goes to, well, it's going to go to h7, but the point is that the white king will just run over to the a5 square. So if we just do a quick count, king g6, king g8, I can even just, king g6, so king g8, only move. And king here. So look how far away the black king is. So normally, if that black king can reach the c8 square, which actually it is going to reach the c8 square, isn't it? So yep, black is just in time to make the draw. As I was about to say, the king has to reach the c8 square, and as it does, the black king just hides in the a8 corner, and you can never do anything with king a7 because black just sits king c7, king c8 forever, and there's nothing that white can do. So wow, Georg Meyer did not in fact win this game.
Oh wow, just by the nick of a tempo.
And that is
it was a draw by stalemate. So this is what Fab Libby had in mind. And he was able to draw the game just like his great first name.
Well, with that, I mean, the division is over. And
that's right. Let's take a look at the scores, the final scores.
Yeah, Ljubljana Turtles, 8-8 tie with the London Lions. And so, Jen, who are the 4 teams? I don't have these standings up in front of me, but who are the 4 teams that are qualifying? So it has to be Stockholm
Snowballs, and they're going to be the winners. Number 1 seed. Marseille Migraines are going to be number 2, and the Blockbusters and the Ljubljana Turtles. Those are our 4.
Well, I'm very glad for the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles of Ljubljana because I'm a huge fan of that series. Growing up, I watch all the cartoons. And, well, I'm getting word, Jen, that Danny Wrench is coming back for a halftime show. So I guess we're sort of being kicked off a little bit here. But, I mean, Jen, it was great to, even though it was brief, I always love doing commentary with you. And, well, I don't know if we'll have a chance to commentary together, but I definitely will be seeing you next month in St. Louis for the U.S. Chess Championships.
Yes, I'm actually going to be in San Francisco as well. So I will see you there. Yeah, I can't miss that.
We'll be together the entire month of April.
It's going to be fantastic. And thank you so much for coming in. And just for everybody watching, know that Robert is going to be back in just a short while to do commentary on the Atlantic Division with Grandmaster Irina Crash. So make sure that you stay tuned for Danny's halftime show and Robert and Irina.
Okay, logging off. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Bye, guys.